Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tennessee Two's Disc Golf Podcast. I don't even know what episode this is anymore, but I
Two
will
five.
apologize. 2-5. I will apologize. I'm sorry we didn't have an episode last week. Your boy over there was in, Disney, and he didn't invite me, and I'm still upset about it. We're not going to talk about it anymore. Okay, I'm too upset. Too upset. But anyways, thank you guys so much for joining
Should
us.
be.
If you are listening at a later time, just a reminder, we do go live every Tuesday night, anywhere around 7:30 Eastern time. We appreciate you guys listening, but you ever want to get in on the action, comment, talk to us directly, interact with the stream that we do live. It's on Facebook. Other than that, Ethan, take it away.
Yep. Well, we are lucky enough to be joined by Mr. Josh Hofstra of Lonestar Discs. He is the marketing and business development and more #more uh, jack of all trades. And yeah, so I'm gonna give the floor to Josh just a little bit, kind of let him introduce himself.
Yeah, guys, my name is Josh Hoffer. As you heard, I'm glad you pronounced my last name correctly. For some reason,
Let's go.
that's a hard thing for people to do because there's not two F's, there's just one. So like Hofstra. I am the sales and business development, marketing, sales, business development. I call myself the front half of the mullet for Lone Star Discs. So for those of you that are familiar with the brand, you've seen me in our 1 minute overview clips, you've seen our live Facebook updates, and you've seen me working our boots out at Texas State's Belton and all the other awesome events that we have helped out at. Lone Star Disc is a Texas-based manufacturer, so we make everything out of our facility in Conroe, Texas. What that means is we get the plastic in, we mold the plastic ourselves with the designs of the molds that we make ourselves, and it ships out the door to you all across the United States. So we're your one-stop shop for everything Texas-made plastic.
Well, let me just go ahead and tell you that was a commercial right there. Somebody needed to clip it. We'll
Flip it
clip
and
it,
ship it,
and
chat.
we'll clip it and ship it. So
Yeah,
that was a good one. It seems like you've done that a few times.
I am somewhat of a personality, so
That's exactly what we're wanting. Um, so Josh is going to be joining us for the entire podcast. That
yes.
we're super excited to have you. Um, we are going to start off um, covering the Portland Open. We will then get into many much questions about Lone Star because I'm super excited. Um, but Daniel, do you manage to happen to manage to have UDisc pulled up? You want to go ahead and cover some
Of
of
course
those?
I do.
I know
You
you
know
do.
me and my 30 windows I always have open on my second monitor.
Well, you have to.
Exactly.
If you don't
Yeah.
Yeah,
have if you don't have less than 30 windows, what's the
yeah.
point?
What are you doing with your life, right? All
Right.
right.
It's not called Windows 10 for a reason.
Well, in fact, I already have UDisc open, so I'm ready to follow along when you are.
I mean, we're
All
all
right.
there. Let's go.
Well, everybody, please open up to page 31 of UDisc.
I don't even know if it goes to 31. Hold on.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna start with FPO. First thing I'm gonna say is, for anybody who follows me on Twitter, you might have noticed I did not tweet anything about Valerie winning. Congratulations to winning. I'm sorry I didn't tweet about you winning. You deserved it, but I was out playing disc golf with my wife all afternoon, and I wasn't anywhere even near my phone or using my phone when you won. It was a huge disservice. I apologize. But Valerie made me eat my words. I said earlier this season after Waco that I didn't think she was going to win in another Elite Series event this year. I knew she was going to win more, but I didn't think it was going to be this year. She absolutely dominated the field out there in Portland, winning by 9 strokes with a total of 20 down over the weekend, beating the second place contender Owen Scoggins, who had an 11 down, and Katrina coming in third, Katrina Allen with a 10 down. A few other people down there tied at fourth, including Missy Page and Rebecca Cox, and then a couple notable names: Kat Murch, Maria Oliva, Juliana Corver, Natalie Ryan, and all of them placed in the top 10 as well. So congratulations on some good performances out there, but really, Valerie, wow,
Yeah.
what a
It was,
performance.
I mean, wire to wire, really. It was, it was one of the more dominant showcasing we've seen from someone not named Paige
I mean, on it,
in
yeah,
a
I
long
think that
time.
that was the biggest thing is as you're watching, I think it was day two coverage. We're all sitting there. We actually bought like a 60 plus inch screen TV for what I call the war room, at
Yeah.
Lone Star, which is where all of our desks are situated. We bought a TV literally just to watch Disc Golf Network while that's happening. And the second day, you're just watching Valerie like pull away from the rest of the girls. You're like, all right, like let's see how this
Yeah.
is gonna go because she was on fire.
She really was. Her
Hmm.
putting was on fire. She was driving amazing. Her upshots was crisp and clean. Like she just had everything put together for this tournament, and she looked ready and capable of taking down anyone at that tournament. Um, however, she did. I was on the opposite spectrum of Daniel's bet, where he said that she wouldn't get a win. I said she would get 2 more wins. So
It's going to be a tough pull.
it is, but that is what I said. Um, so we're halfway there. I mean, it's potential.
Keep in mind,
Um,
a lot of these FPO players and MPO players are pulling out for personal reasons, whether it's injury or mental breaks. And so
yep,
I say this about everybody. So we have several pros that are out on tour right now. Any one of these players are good enough to win on any given Sunday. And the fact that she's done
absolutely.
it twice in double, I think it's the second time, it's her second time winning. And I think she also had double digit like
Yes.
pullaways.
Yep.
So yeah, any
She was
given
in the
Sunday,
lead.
anybody can win it. She's got it right now for sure.
Yeah, she definitely can. Speaking about 2 wins, jump over to MPO. I mean,
All right.
what
What a
Simon
battle.
Lazat?
What a battle. Simon Zott, negative 34 for the entire weekend. Shot a 7 down on the final day. Wasn't necessarily his best performance of the entire weekend, but it was very solid and competitive. However, Double G gave him a great run for his money. We'll get back to that in a little bit, but I also want to call out Isaac Robinson, who had a fantastic performance, having the hot round of the day, first day out, and really stuck around. Wasn't good enough to win, but he was definitely a thorn in the side of a lot of players out there.
Mm-hmm.
Really impressed with that performance. If you guys didn't notice, a little bit sneaky back there, just missing the podium was Gannon Burr, continuing not necessarily to be the hottest player on tour, but definitely continuing to surprise us.
Yes, he is very consistent at surprising us.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be too much longer before it's not a surprise anymore.
Well,
You
this
know,
is a, I think it was, so again, I just recently got back on Twitter. I've been working with Lone Star's Twitter account. And there's another organization called Green Splatter. They do a bunch of little, puff piece articles, whatever. So
he literally had a little dispute with them earlier on
yes, and so
Twitter.
you go
Dispute.
Gannon Burr.
It wasn't dispute. Okay.
He's the prime example, though. Gannon Burr is the prime example of a kid, right? He's a kid now. He will still be young in 10 years. So with the sport evolving as fast as it is, he will still be younger than a Paul Macbeth or a Simon Lizotte.
Yeah.
And that's mind blowing, right? You
It
think
is.
he could really dominate the next 10 years. So it's super cool to see.
That's and absolutely wild to consider that. Speaking of ye old Paul Macbeth, he was in the running.
He was.
And one of the things that we had been talking about the last couple of podcasts is that Paul has been dealing with some sort of injury and obviously consistently underperforming. And we got a little more information into that. If you guys missed it during the live broadcasts, they actually talked about Paul talking about some of the things that he's been dealing with lately, specifically his release and his inability to throw the disc how he's used to. And it wasn't in relation to an injury specifically, but they talked about how he was throwing it with a little bit more hyzer than he's used to. He's obviously modified his form and he's trying to get his form back on point. Now, one of the things I want to talk about with that is this is a really big thing for me because we talked so much about all these players who are having injuries and a lot of these players that are finally accepting it's time to take a break and take care of their bodies. And what I personally believe, 100% speculation here, Paul Macbeth is dealing with remnants of the injury that maybe it's not hurting him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But when you play through injuries, you compensate somewhere. If a part of your body is not functioning properly, that means you have to overexert from another part of your body. That means you change your form. That means you're going to throw differently. You're going to do whatever you can to make up for the deficiencies of that part of your body, and he's now paying the price for it. because he cannot use the form that he did at the beginning of the season.
I think you're right, but I also think, and you brought it up earlier, Isaac Robinson being the thorn in his side. You see the 8 that he took on 14. Watching
Yeah.
that coverage over again on Jomez, you see him, he just duffs it twice. Double OB, the third one. I think the third one either went OB or just left him in not a great position. You just go, there's a guy here that's matching you. Isaac Robinson, the hole before, smashes a tree right off the tee pad and then immediately throws the greatest close, like in between 4 or 5 big trees, the greatest upshot. Right?
Yeah,
I think
it was great.
they're like, I was like 800 feet. I was like, I don't know how. I don't even know how that's possible, but that was amazing. And I think that's also he's never been a head games guy. We all know Paul's super under control,
Yes.
but when it's wet, you're having problems with your release, and then you're sitting here and you're in contention. You're fighting over third place, right?
Right.
I think that was also a huge factor in that.
It definitely could be.
One of the things I can say I definitely did notice this week, though, out of Paul, is that his power is returning. Um, he was
Yes.
throwing the disc distances that he was not getting out of his past few tournaments, and it was pretty obvious. But you could tell that now that he's adding that extra power again, his release is off, specifically his angle control. He does not have good angle control right now, which is exactly that second OB you're talking about, is he flipped it over too much to the right. And a little
100%.
bit, I mean, he kind of says, like, in the coverage, he kind of says, no, come on, man, what are you doing? Like, as if his disc wasn't supposed to do that. But when you really look at it and what happened is he clearly released it on too much Anheuser. I mean,
Yeah.
he turned it over too much, and then the wind did not help it.
Yep.
Sure. But that is an obvious sign that he is still trying to readjust from recovering from an injury where he adjusted his game to play through. Did he play a couple of great rounds throughout that injury that were very impressive? Absolutely, he did. But he's paying the price now, and now he has to completely recenter his game and figure it out if he wants to be competitive again this season.
Yeah, I agree. I just don't see him slowing down. I think something would
Yeah.
have to force him to slow down.
Literally,
absolutely.
if you look at his entire last day, I point over here like you guys can see. Do you see this?
We can see.
Yeah,
it's right here.
That's I'm looking too.
You look at all the birdies he had. He had one bogey the entire. So say he's finding an injury. Paul Macbeth is still insanely deadly. He's got all these
Yes.
birdies, and the one right is that quadruple bogey. The one
Right.
quadruple bogey still lands him tied for 5th.
Yeah.
That's then the field's stacked, right? The field is absolutely stacked. So it's not like it was like,
Yeah.
oh, it's like some random A tier that, a couple of people showed up. No, he's still deadly even under
yeah.
an injury
Yep.
like that.
Absolutely.
So.
But my point with all of that is, can you imagine if he had just said, okay, you know what, I'm hurt, and he got after Champions Cup and he said, I'm just going to take a break for a couple of weeks, and he came back, and after two events or so, he probably would have missed for the injury. And then he doesn't change his throwing form. He goes back to how he was throwing before, which was looking dominant from Waco, Memorial. Everything that he was doing was looking beautiful. And instead of changing your throwing form to play less than what you usually are, miss a couple of events, can you imagine how dominant he could have been at some of
Yeah.
these other events?
Well,
Like, and
he very well could have.
I'm so proud of Ricky for accepting that it was time to just take a step back and heal up the body and get it under control before coming back, because and I think everybody would agree with me, I would rather see 100% Ricky 75% of the events than 75% Ricky at 100% of the events.
Right. I agree. One thing that is kind of odd though for this time of year, I guess, is the 1050 boys are just not there. It like Eagle's hurt, Ricky's hurt, Paul's probably still hurt, but he's not playing to the 1050 level. And Chris is still in Tennessee. He's still here. So it opens the door for all of these other players to really shine through and to make notable appearances.
Right.
Someone like Isaac Robinson, and I am not taking anything away from him because he played phenomenal. But it has to be a little bit of a mind shift when you know that 4 out of the top 4 players are either not playing well or not there.
Oh, yeah.
That's got to be monumental, saying, "I can take this down."
Well, I also
It's
want you to think of it this way too. Uh, One of the things that we've been finding as a new company ourselves, right? So we've only been around since 2019. We have new players that are out on tour where it's their first or second year on tour.
yeah,
I want to shine some light on tied for 21st Chandler Kramer. He's our designated forehand bomber, right? This guy freaking hucks a disc, and
Right.
he's tied with Kevin Jones. He's tied with the guys
yeah,
where last year you're Kyle Klein's, your Kevin Jones's, right? We were like, these guys are gods among men. They're the best people out there. And Chandler's first year out on tour, he's tying with them. So I think as the sport is growing, as social media is getting bigger with disc golf, you're getting a lot of that raw talent that's coming out of the woodwork and
I
going,
agree.
"Hey, I'm here. I've only been playing for 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is, and I think I can compete with you guys at the highest level." Now, yes, having your Chris Dickersons, whatever, that might move them around certain places, but again, any given Sunday, man, any one
Yeah,
of these guys they're playing can take it home.
Right. All right. Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about Simon and Garrett in a minute, but I'm going to bring in chat for a second. I've opened up chat and pinned comments to make sure that you guys are seeing. Um, and we've got a question here. Uh, we've got Bob. I'm going to butcher this last name, but Flater?
yep,
Robert
sounds
Fleeter.
good.
Fleeter.
Fleeter.
Ah,
Yep.
it was close. Flighter was not bad.
If there's
Uh,
any names of the guys on our team, I'll help you out.
yeah. So Bob Fleeter, he asks, do you see any Lone Star disc getting into some of the big pros bags in the future? He mentions he's taken Lone Star to the NADGT. Really awesome to hear that. While up here in Ogden, Utah, visiting my daughter in Dakota, whose bag is now Lone Star. Go
Go
Team Lone
Team
Star.
Lone Star.
Yes, thanks, man. Appreciate you, Robert. Yeah, he's one of our man. That guy, truly one of the people that you could ask for the shirt off of his back, and he would give it to you. He's already in the process of taking it off as you're asking, right?
Right.
So the answer to that question is yes. We're actually working with some pretty high level pros. One of our bigger sources has been working with companies that have access to pros like this that are looking for contracts.
Right.
I don't know if, to put it in perspective, in January we had 8 molds. We are now about to release our 20th and 21st mold.
Yeah. That
That's
just
insane.
And so,
that's one of the things I'm so excited about. We will get to that.
yes,
I
yes.
I'm
And
oh
so the amount of growth that we've had this year is astonishing, right? We went from 800 likes on Facebook to we're about to hit 7,000 likes in just 6 months.
That's
huge growth.
awesome.
So the amount of the amount of growth in not only our sales market, our social media, the awareness of our brand, obviously working with awesome guys like you guys over the podcast,
Woo.
Thank you.
having the ability to come on and talk about it is truly helping bring in a lot of those big names, and they go, hey, you care a lot more about disc golf than I've seen some of these other manufacturers care about it. And hey, you watch live coverage, you're passionate about disc golf, and you want to see it improve. Truly, we love the sport of disc golf, and we want to bring it to a professional level, and we want to make the best discs on the market for the best players out there in the world, and for players like me who are not going to be, but at least help be the face of that process, right?
Yeah.
So to answer Robert's question, there are already molds and some of the top players in the bag. Top players, there's already molds in their bag out there right now that are made by Lone Star.
Do
Mhm.
you have any particular names we could drop at all? Like specifically, I would imagine there's at least one or two mixed bag players that
Yeah,
have
so
a mold.
I would
there is
assume.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is one player that has a mold. I'm not going to talk about it because I can't. Right.
Okay.
Fair enough.
But there is a player out there who is in the top. I'll make it broad. He's in the top 25 who's been throwing a disc on coverage that is produced at Lone Star Disc, which is
Hmm.
super exciting to see. We're working with a lot of other avenues and ways to try and make that more of a reality. Because obviously, even if you go into say like a U disc and you go, I'm going to mark my drive, right? I threw it 400 feet. Great. Lone Star
Yeah.
Disc isn't in U disc yet because we are such a new company, right?
Right.
Right.
And we're expanding at such a rapid rate that it's like every day is like 10 new things that I'm doing where it's getting involved with UDisc or setting up for a big A tier tournament or doing any of that stuff. So I'm super excited for the future. 2023, y'all have got to watch out because we are going to hit the ground running when it comes to pros, pro tour, in the
Nice.
bags, all that stuff.
Or you
So
could
it's
hit
gonna
the
be
ground
fantastic.
rolling like you're balled up like an armadillo.
That's true. Yeah.
You
What's
know?
funny is who would think that a one-speed disc would actually make a great roller,
Right?
right? We the first time that we threw it, we made it in that Victor plastic that floats in water.
Yeah.
The first time we threw like a roller line with it, like, oh, haha, watch this. It's like a tire. It
Just
went
goes
for
straight.
forever.
Yeah,
It's
it
just
just
left
goes
the
so straight.
shape. Yeah, I was like, all right, like it flies super straight in the air
Yeah.
and on a roller. I guess that works. So
Well, I mean, Jeremy Colling talks about it all the time. He's like, you guys forget like the room of error, the margin for error when you throw lower speed discs in a roller fashion, it's so much greater
yeah,
because the edge is so much more blunt that you have the opportunity to throw it down. And then, it's not like a wide rim driver where you've got this little pinpoint that's hitting the ground.
Yep.
And if it's off angled just even a little bit, it's not going where you're telling it. That's the story of it is. Bob's out here saying, did they not see the armadillo shot? And I can say
oh,
that I did, but I couldn't say that I remember actually who threw
so
it or
we had one of our pros. He competes in MP40 or MPO, whichever one's more open, right? Because
right,
nowadays it's hard to just get into a tournament, let alone play where you actually want to play.
Right.
which is
So
good but also tough.
yeah, so he was super happy turning 40 this year. He's like, yes. He's like, I get
It's
to
like
play MP40 if
he said, I
MPO's
got two
full. Yeah,
shots.
yeah, exactly. So he's actually at Music City Open, and he's got to be, I don't know, 100 to 150. He's far out, right? And he's stuck in between trees. And he just kind of sails it out there, throws it flat, lets it kind of come up, and it just crashes into the basket. And you're just like, okay, yeah, that's what a one-speed disc should be for. And in
Yeah.
fact, another Twitter conversation we got into today was, um, oh, is this one-speed disc over? Is this overhyped or is that overhyped? We get our armadillo compared to a Berg all the time,
Right.
which I think is hilarious because they're two completely different discs in the way that they fly. A Berg, you can pretty much just throw as hard as you want. It's always going to go left, and it's just going to sit, right?
hmm
Yep.
You can have touch with it, but touch isn't really like required. Whereas an armadillo rewards a player who has touch. Leah Sinagini, she's our two-ring FPO player. Leah Sinagini, I love the armadillo. She made me fall in love with the armadillo even more, watching her do these like big Annie flick shots where it's like following this line and doing anything that she tells it to, because she knows how to manipulate the disc that way. She's actually a killer out there on the ultimate course. I
Yeah.
think it was the Atlanta Soul that she used to play for, and I think she played 2 games this year with them. And though it's not the ability that you can use a one-speed disc for so many versatile shots, people underestimate.
Yeah, that's actually
That's so true.
that was the Twitter post that we were talking about where so I handle most of the Twitter. And
Yeah.
that was the one that was Green Splatter actually.
Yep.
Shout out to
I didn't
Green
want to say
Splatter.
the name twice, right?
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
you're
we already
good.
talked about it.
I mean, good for them. So I actually I replied back, and my specific words were, "I know you build your brand on hot takes, but this one just isn't good."
It was not, dude. I got to tell you, the one disc he was like, no pros are out there throwing one-speed discs, and I was like, I got to tell you, like everybody in there has that utility, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Whether it's a
100%.
one-speed or say a tilt, right? A tilt has no purpose other than
Utility.
the like 1 or 2 shots that you're going to use it for.
Yeah.
Other than
Yeah.
that, it's too overstable, right? And so the armadillo is the opposite, where you can use it on every shot. It's a one-speed disc that I like on 300-foot holes. Isn't that so pretty?
Yeah.
We should have brought an armadillo to show.
I wish. I want my hands on one so bad.
I've
Yeah.
got literally a box of discs in my garage right now. I could have just brought in here and showed off. But
Mm.
the armadillo itself is so usable. I think it's the opposite. You have utility discs that are only made for one specific thing, and then you have the Swiss
Yeah.
Army knife, which is used for everything. And I feel like that's what an armadillo is.
But
Right.
yeah, and I mean that's a great thing for me. It's because the second part of my comment there was I think you're seriously undervaluing the ability to throw a disc as hard as you want with minimal repercussions, which,
100%.
and I use that very specific to how the word is phrased, which is consequences. To be able to use a disc and have less consequences, but throw it harder, because we all know it's much easier to replicate a throwing motion when you can throw harder.
Yes.
When you have to power down and slow
Mhm.
down, that's where the pros really start to separate themselves from us amateurs, is their ability to do that in any situation. Whereas somebody like me, I might have a little bit more trouble with slowing down my arm speed and still getting the results I want. But for somebody like me, the Berg is a great tool because I have great angle control on a backhand, so I can use it for backhand turnovers. It's actually been my new favorite shot with the Berg is high floating anhyzer turnovers, that are where you need something that's going to get up there and fade to flat and keep just pushing forward as opposed to diving into the ground or whatever it is. And I I love Green Splatter. Actually, I think they're really fun to read because again, they really do build their brand around hot takes and stuff that people usually wouldn't say. And I can't tell you how
Yeah.
many times I disagree with what they're saying, but they do it in such a way that it's fun to watch and it's non-confrontational, and I really appreciate the content that they're
Right. They
making.
just
So,
appreciate that somebody's reading, somebody's listening.
yeah,
That's the point. They want
Yeah.
the reaction,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
The interactions.
I think that's been
that's
the
it.
most fun part about getting on Twitter is so I manage all of our social media, and so Facebook and Instagram, very professional. Hey, this is our new product that's coming out. Today on Twitter, I was able to make somebody mistyped Mad Cat and called it a Max Cat, and so I made a Mad Max Cat stamp where a Mad Cat was driving the Mad Max
Oh
car,
my
and I
God,
made a
that's
line art and I
awesome.
posted it, and I'm like, this is what I enjoy doing,
Wait,
right?
wait,
That's
wait.
the
Yes.
Please tell me you sent that to somebody and that's going to be a an official run.
I wonder if I saved it to now. I usually save everything to my Google Drive or to our server. That was the one thing I didn't save. I was going to pull it up from here and post it down in the
Oh
comments.
my God, that would be awesome.
Okay, well, I don't. You can't even post pictures in our comments because it's a live stream. Usually blocks that.
Ah,
But
Yeah.
jeez.
I don't know why
but
they do that,
please get that to whoever makes the decisions on designs because if you put that stamp on a disc, I don't even care what disc it is. I'm buying it.
yeah.
Custom stamp,
Well,
Mad Max
see,
Cat.
so
That's it.
that's
It's in my bag. I don't even care if I throw it. It's in my
since we're
bag.
talking about the Mad Cat, that is the only Lone Star disc that I have owned,
Hmm.
and I loved it.
It's like our gateway drug.
It,
Everybody starts off with like a Mad Cat, a curl, or a penny, and like that's the way
yeah.
that they go in. Recently, obviously, we released the Armadillo in I think late January, and so the Armadillo. Think about it this way: since 2019, we've been making discs. We had 8 molds. Just starting this year, the Armadillo has outsold every other mold that we've made because it is so versatile and everyone can use it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guarantee you're gonna get that Victor or whatever plastic Armadillo, and you're gonna be like, what have I been doing with my life? This is
Right.
like I've needed this disc. The Mad Cat is awesome, and I love it. For those of you out there that are interested in what we're talking about, a Mad Cat would be more comparable to like a coaling Thunderbird.
That's exactly. It's like a
Yes.
9502, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's
Yeah.
yeah. So
So
it's yeah.
Bob's in here in the chat saying he's officially calling for the Mad Max Cat first run, and please send me a
That's awesome.
notification so that I can buy that immediately.
Yes. Well, I
Um,
think it's funny how this all started. That's the fun part about the internet, man. And I love social media because of this. Is you can have those conversations where I'm face to face with you. Who doesn't love reading Wendy's Twitter?
It's the best.
it's the
It's
It's
the
best.
literally
best,
the
right?
best. It's like
And so
Gordon Ramsay.
yes.
It's just those types are so good.
So I feel like for me, when I found out that we were looking to get back into Twitter, because I thought Twitter was dying. From a social media side, I thought Twitter was just, again, the same thing. But a hot take. This sucks. You suck. No, I suck. It's all individualistic, right? So the way you have to position your social media account when it comes to Twitter is it's you. You are the person behind such and such Twitter account. Wendy's isn't Wendy's. Wendy's is whoever manages that handle,
Yes.
Yep.
right?
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
it's been a lot of fun for me to kind of really get personal and like make jokes with a lot of the fans that we have and comment on Green Splatter stuff when he's like Lone Star needs to make a beef, and then I post up a picture that one of our team members made of like all the fake names of discs that we're going to release in the next year or 2 years
Yeah.
or whatever. So I thought that was really funny.
All right. We'll talk more about some of the discs and what you guys got going on in a second. But let's go back to Simon and Garrett here real quick and we can start wrapping up the Portland Open because we have to talk about it. We
Mhm.
have to talk about hole 18
I was going to
because
say
I I legitimately texted Ethan or Ethan texted me first. Whoever texted who first and we were just like what is happening?
It's like,
What
what is
did I
this
just
18th hole?
what is this 18th hole that we are watching right now because it's unfathomable for me to have considered watching that and here we are. I mean, give me your take. What are you thinking, Ethan?
So for me, when I very first saw it, and I was okay with Simon going for it because he was putting the pressure on, right?
Right.
Most people were not. They were like, just lay up and put the pressure on Garrett. But Garrett being in a better position, knowing that Garrett has the arm to get an eagle on that, I do not blame Simon at all for going for it.
No,
However,
absolutely not.
on the other side, there is absolutely no chance that if I was Garrett Gerthy, I would throw a forehand in that situation. Okay? It, regardless if Simon went OB or not, that's not the play for him. All right? He has so many touchy, flippy discs to go to the right, to go straight. He doesn't need to hook around the OB. Why even flirt with that? If his and I love Garrett to death. I really do. I've met him. I've talked with him. He's a great guy, but I don't know what was going through his head there.
Yeah, I
Truly
mean,
don't.
to me, like the best way that I can explain this is Gannon Burr at LVC all over again. All you had to do was hit edge of circle in front of the basket. You didn't even have to flirt with the disc skipping off the top of the hill and going OB there. All you had to do was lay it up and get it to a point where Drew has to make it. He has no choice. It has to go in or it's over. He has to run it. But instead, you throw an OB, you give him an opportunity to just play it out as he wants to.
Yep.
And I mean, I can't fathom now to
It
play
is
devil's
very
advocate.
similar.
I'm gonna go with the argument that you gave me when I said the same thing to you, which is it's something that he clearly, felt comfortable with. And who are we to judge that it was not the right shot for him at the time? Yes.
Yeah,
Did he do it wrong? Absolutely. We know that he messed it up. But if it had gone right, none of us would be saying a word about it.
you're right. Well, I don't know. If if you got to throw over OB, even though you don't have to, I still don't think that that's the right shot. I just don't. Especially it being Garrett. Like that's
Yeah.
his weak side. His strong side is made for that shot. Uh, you know what I mean? Like he can throw a putter 500 if he wants. So
Yeah, and at the
it's
very
just
least, if he goes up there and does the same thing that Simon does, which is
it's still a ballpark
overpower,
rate. You know,
yeah,
it's
overpower one and get one to the basket, and then it goes out of bounds. At least you did what Simon did, which was he got to the basket and he gave himself an opportunity if he actually needed to, which he ended up not. But at that point, I mean, why not at least, if you're gonna flirt with OB that hard, you might as well get it close to the basket.
yep,
I got some stats for you to put yourself in
absolutely.
perspective because I
Ooh,
always like
I
to
love
I always
stats,
like to
man.
offer perspective, right?
We're
So I'm
stats
looking
guys.
here.
We
Oh, I'm a
love
Round
big
stats.
stat guy.
4 MPO coverage. You're talking at the 18th hole, it opens up. There's no more trees blocking the wind, right?
Right.
We're talking 13-mile-an-hour wind coming out of the southwest. Okay. 13 mile an hour is enough to push any plastic disc anywhere, right?
Right.
And so in
Right.
his head, 61 degrees, it's pouring rain, right? I'm laughing because I see Simon Lizotte carrying a hand-eye umbrella, and I'm going, oh, their stuff's made by Trilogy now, so
Right.
I guess he can carry around the hand-eye stuff, right? And you go, okay, if I'm in that situation where I'm Garrett Gerthy, I'm thinking, okay, well, if I try to throw something flippy, maybe it turns into a roller and goes OB. But I know for a fact that if I throw this on just a little choppy hyzer angle, I'll be good. I'll be safe. That'll be it.
Right.
Because Simon's shot did the same thing. If you watch the coverage over on Jomez, they give you kind of another angle where you see the discs just getting pushed. There was
Yes.
nothing they could have done there. And so
Right.
I think in Garrett's head, and this is every pro's stance on this, what has the highest probability of working? And he
Right.
thought forehand's going to be it. And so,
Right.
yeah, obviously it led to that. But
Yeah.
again, they battled, man. You can't
Because
argue with either of their modes.
And
Yeah.
that's
I
one
mean,
of the
'cause
things is
for
the
that was it
chess
for me
match.
is yeah, exactly. And that was it for me. Like I don't you were kind of talking about why would he choose to flirt with the OB in that manner? I don't
Mhm.
have a problem with that. The OB was not the issue with the shot. It was the forehand that was the issue with the shot for me. If you're going to throw a backhand turnover that you know is going to come back to the right and you throw it over the OB on the left and turn it to the right, that would have been just the same as if he had thrown that forehand, which he's clearly not as comfortable with. Right. Now, he
100%.
had thrown some good
And
forehands this weekend. I don't want to
yeah,
say he
no,
didn't,
yeah,
and
no, no, no,
he
no.
might have had a comfort level that he really thought it was going to be the best shot, but we know it's not the strong suit of his game, and with the match on the line, I just didn't think that was the best choice. The OB doesn't bother me.
The thing about it is I guess that I could look at it this way too, is to where he really pulled over on that throw. Like you can tell so much in his
Yeah.
form how he released so late. He might not have even tried to even flirt with OB. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It
I think it was just a clear pull
I
job.
just yeah,
100%.
it was just a pull. So with that being said, just trying to go straight ahead and duck into the right, that's not a bad play. But considering where the disc went and released, that's what made it the bad play.
Right.
What was the distance to the pin? Do you guys know?
It was 430.
Oh, okay. So it was still far, right? Because I'm thinking in my
Right.
head, I'm going, just throw something overstable, throw a Firebird, or throw it like
Yeah.
go into Innova's line of birds on fire or
Right.
birds that have been reincarnated, whatever, right?
Whatever they
choose,
are.
choose a bird for the love of God. Any
Yeah.
The
bird.
Egyptian god bird, something.
Yeah,
whatever it is
right.
now.
Well, they haven't taken those names yet. I got into an argument with somebody about that the other day. They said, "Well, why do you keep naming things after Texas?" I said, "Well, Innova has taken all the good names. They've been around for decades." So
Right.
I was like, "We got to choose it." Of course, we would love to name a disc the Destroyer, but it's already taken. So
Yeah.
but yeah. So I had assumed, right? Coverage makes everything look. You add 10 pounds to the person, but you also add 300 feet. Like
Yeah.
when you're actually
Right.
there, being at the open at Belton, watching coverage made every hole look small. Like it was like, oh, it's like 400 feet. And you're like, no, that's a
Oh, yeah.
700-foot hole.
Especially with how smooth they've gotten switching to catch cam
Oh,
specifically,
yes.
because the catch cam makes everything look at least 30% shorter.
Well, because your exit speed. So I test this here. I hate to keep harping on the Dillo. I gave one of our pros, Charlie Moore, who has one of the biggest backhands I've ever seen. He's just all the torque he can put on Armadillo, and I'm just like, throw it to me, like let me see how fast. And he's got all his exit speed, 75 mile an hour, or whatever, launching this thing, and by the time it lands in front of you, 300 feet in front of it's like slowly coasting down. So those catch cams do make it look like, oh, like that wasn't even that far at all. That was
Yeah.
Right.
No,
that was 300 feet, whatever. It's a 600-foot hole. So
Yeah. I'm going to hop in chat real quick. First of all, Josh Thompson, thank you so much for tuning in. He says, I started on a curl and now Lonestar Discs fills my bag completely. The Dillos completely replaced my Rhino. Awesome to hear. Seriously, thank you so much for tuning in. We hope to see you more often. And Bob comes in here. He's got a question. What did you guys think of, or the perspective on the way that Paul Macbeth copied the Simon Lizotte hyzer shot? And we kind of all know the one he's talking about, that
Yes.
wide hyzer where they had to make everybody move out of the way on that last
Yep.
round. And I'm going to go first because I think I've got a pretty well dialed explanation for why he did what he did. And it has to go back to what we were talking about with his ability to use angle control in this tournament. We know he's been struggling with it, and that was the shot that gave him the ability to throw something overstable, not have to worry too much about it flipping over on him. And if he misreleased the angle a little bit, he was not going to get severely punished for it. And so it was a good disc golf decision, especially watching somebody else do it and get that success, knowing I can do that too. That's no problem.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of think that he kind of tipped the hat to Simon and was like, all right, yeah, you're right. You're winning. I'm not. Your line worked every time. I'm going to try it. He knows that he could have replicated it.
Yeah.
It's a stock hyzer shot that you do have to pull just a little bit wide, but Simon did it perfectly on multiple occasions. And
Yes.
for Paul just trying it right there on spot, he did really well. He got it to what, like 40 feet?
Yeah, just past edge of circle.
So
Yeah.
there's a saying in the automotive world. So before I got into disc golf, I was pretty big in the automotive performance side. And the guy that taught me everything I know about, airflow and engine dynamics stuff, he said, if the fastest guy at the racetrack has fuzzy dice in his mirror, you better put fuzzy dice in your mirror. And
Yep.
this right here is exactly that, where you go, okay, Simon's clearly ahead
Yep,
by a
it
lot.
works.
He's taken this line. Hyzer's the easiest angle on backhand, in my opinion. It's just a natural release, left to right. And so if he can follow that same line, he knows he has the same power. Go for it.
Yeah. Again, and it's that repeatable one because you have two options there. You have to throw something that's a touchy turnover and get it to flex to the right before it fades back to the left. You have to fight the wind in that, not overturn your disc, not underturn your disc, and go way off left. You have trees to contend with. There's really one tree to beat and the flag on that right-hand hyzer route. It's repeatable, and for somebody who's struggling with angle control, it's the easiest angle to control to begin with. I don't. I can. I would never blame him for that shot. Could he have, garnered a better result with a different angle? More than likely, but he made the best decision at the point.
I agree.
Oh, for sure.
But I don't want to overshadow Simon throwing the hyzer line. Paul throwing the hyzer line. Isaac steps up and he's like, I'm sticking to my game plan. You know? And
Dude, talk about dark horse, right?
right?
Oh my gosh, he would not have been my dark horse pick.
No.
It would not have been.
It was just that was actually when I was like, I like him more. I was like, I like him more now because not only did he have the confidence to go for it, he had the confidence to execute it after seeing someone park it an easier way.
Right.
That was pretty awesome to me.
I think one of my favorite things.
Love it.
I think one of my favorite things about Isaac Robinson's game over the course of that last round was, I mean, he hit a tree so early on 3 or 4 tees. I mean, he hit a tree that literally said, return to sender. And that was it.
Right.
And he was completely unfazed. He just got up there to his next shot and just blasted one. And just, I mean, it never got him down. And I loved the mindset. It was so fun to watch.
That's what
because
I loved the most.
I hit a tree and I get a tree that says, return to sender. Here you go. I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do now?
Same thing or what?
Yeah, no.
Right.
If I hit a tree early, I'm not even trying to go for the pin at that point. I'm like, we'll just get back to the fairway. We're just gonna nice and easy. We've already done too much.
That's what I would like to say that I would do, but I always go for it and end up hitting the next available, so it's fine.
Oh,
it's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Again, I made a meme for Lone Star's social media the other day. It said, fastest things.
I know. I said it with the penny putter.
Yeah. I said cheetah, airplane, speed of light, and it said my disc hitting the first available tree, and that couldn't be more true. Again, watching his shot, I'm not sure if it was 16 or 17. I think it was which one did you take a 3 on? 17. Dude, you hit a tree that's 50 feet in front of you, and it rolls into an unfavorable area, and he gets a full run up in between trees, big flex line, and he's parked. Well, parked by the pro standards, right?
Yeah. Well, and there was also that one time early in the round where Paul just absolutely nails a 90-footer and he just walks up completely undisturbed and just nails it right after him. I'm like, I'd have been looking at that like, I'm not doing anything but laying this up, let alone after watching Paul Macbeth do that in front of me. I'd have been like,
yes. They call it getting big putted for a reason. Like, it's supposed to be shaking you to your core that you just got big putted. And it looked almost like Isaac was just out there having fun with it, man. Like, he was literally just really playing his best game and having fun.
Yeah.
It was refreshing.
Can't wait to see more of him this season.
Yeah. He was kind of electric to watch. I really enjoyed watching him.
I think that's one of the things that, we talk about disc golf and the new players coming up. I cannot wait to see the rotation of, hey, maybe Simon or Paul's getting a little bit old, and who's going to be the next Ken Climo or the next Macbeth. And you're watching these guys again, like Gannon Burr, or, the younger guard coming up, and you're going, oh, it's exciting to watch Gannon because he doesn't really have much meat on his bones. Right? I'm 6'4", 245 pounds, and I was caddying for one of our players on a card with Gannon and Brody. And Brody and I are walking around like a bunch of meatheads, right? With having no ankles. We just got straight calved a foot. And then you watch Gannon walk up, and he's skinnier. He hasn't really filled out yet, right? And you're watching this kid bomb the disc as far, if not farther, than Brody on half these shots. And you're just going, where is this coming from? Where did you come from? How are you this young and this good? This disciplined, especially. He had, let me tell y'all, hole 13 at the Open at Belton. It's the one that's kind of uphill. There's a bunch of trees that stick in the way. Gannon had one of the worst, hit the tree, roll down the hill. Hit the tree, roll down the hill. His recovery, mentally and physically, where he landed, was some of the most astonishing disc golf I've seen in a long time. It was amazing.
All right, we got a lot to go through in chat here for a second, but one of the things, before we get anywhere, we have, first of all, Devin Boothman. Hey, Boothie.
Hey, Boothie. You got to say, hey, Boothie, Josh.
Yeah, hey Boothie, how's it going?
All right. He said he
Hey.
can die happy now.
That's my guy.
Just don't die
Yeah.
too soon on us, okay?
No,
Yes.
Boothman's one of the guys that he actually went down with an injury. So we have our local club is called Northside Chain Gang. Uh, I think
Okay.
that's hilarious because
That's
when I first moved,
intimidating.
oh, I know, right?
All I can imagine when you say that is just like 15 guys with a disc golf backpack on, riding a bike with a couple of playing cards in the.
That's it. We're the chain gang, right? Our chains flying off our bike.
Yes.
But no, like
With
it's
disc
so
dots
funny.
on the spokes.
Ah, there it is.
Oh
Heck
That's a
gosh.
yeah.
that's a plug for Disc Dot.
Yep.
Um,
Freebie.
so Northside Chain Gang has over 3,000 members, and they're insanely active, right? Everybody comes out to show support. They show up at events, and Boothman actually was recovering from an injury, and he's our resident troll, right?
Hmm.
And so he goes into the posts, and he's always egging people up, and people are like, "Oh, you quit disc golf." Well, realistically, he was rehabbing to come back, and him coming back to play disc golf has been a huge motivator in my disc golf career because he's rubbed off a little bit of his game onto me. Um, but it's also fun to have somebody around that supports you like he does, right? So
Right.
some people would take this as trolling. He's in there telling people to rub my bald head, right? Whatever that is. But truly, he's here for support, and that's what I appreciate Mr. Boothman for.
Absolutely.
I
We're
love it.
all
His in
about
here is
it.
is that
Yes.
Daddy Josh?
Yeah.
All right. But one of the things he said here I want to touch on before we get to anything else in the comments is he says, "Don't sleep on Emmer Daddy. He's still so young. All of his, 4'15" that he is." And
Well, Boothman
first of all,
himself is 4'16", so let's not go too. Boothie's
but
Boothie's a shorter guy
And
himself.
I'm 4'17", so
Yeah.
but anyways, I wanted to touch on Emerson here real quick, just because if nobody has seen, he actually had an infection recently that potentially could have been life threatening if it wasn't caught early enough, from what I'm have read and heard. So I just want to send out a big Keith, please get well. Quick and speedy recovery. We hope all is well with you and the family. I know that the wife is pregnant as well, right on the edge there, and then you
Holy
have one
cow.
other kid I know for sure. But get well soon. We want to see you back on the tour as quick as possible. So just wanted to give
absolutely.
that a shout out because thanks for the reminder, Devin. That was appreciated. I did want to mention that.
Yeah,
Yep.
he's another one of those top guys when you mentioned guys that aren't out on tour right now that are dominant.
Yeah.
Emerson Keith is a force to be reckoned with. He's always out there competing at the highest level. I don't think I've seen him where he's at an event where he's not finishing top 10 if he's got a clear head and everything's
Yeah.
going well for him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. He's
Love to
definitely
see
a
it.
top 10, top 15 talent.
And if you're
Yeah.
talking about somebody who, beyond the fact that their body should not be producing it, the
Holy
distance.
cow, dude.
I mean, shoot, I am 6 foot and I don't have the longest arms, but I just touched 530 for the very first time in my entire life, like a week and a half ago. And let me tell
How far
you,
downhill, though?
it was
Right.
a crush. It was about 5 or 10 feet. But I had to throw flat over a hill that was 350, 400 feet down the fairway before
Yeah.
it went downhill. So, but still to touch over 500,
Yeah.
530, that was super awesome for me. But let me tell you, it took the perfect release on the perfect angle with really good height and every little bit of juice that I had. I mean, it's
Everything.
not a shot I would ever throw in a tournament because
No.
it takes every bit of my arm speed to do that. And he goes out there, all of his, 4'5", and just, throws 600 feet like it's nothing. I'm like, I don't know how you do that
It
with your
just goes
size.
to show how good a form.
Oh, we got a puppy. I spot puppy.
Yes.
I was like,
I
whose
got
dog? What are you talking about?
puppy
So
spotting.
So if you guys want to talk real quick about him, Charles.
Yeah. He's a
So
spaniel of some sort, it looks like.
yeah, he's a Springer Spaniel.
Yep.
So he is, golly, dude. He is actually English Springer Spaniel, and he's blind.
I see that. Yep.
So his full name is Ray Charles.
Nice.
He goes by Charles because he's an English gentleman, of course. But he's actually been around for 7 years, been blind his whole life, and I'm actually looking to get him back on the course, which is why he had that fresh fade right there instead of being his normal plumey self. But
Right.
he follows you around by the sound of your feet. So if I can take him with and kind of get him some more exercise, our local courses are very dog friendly as long as they're on a leash. So
Yeah, my dog is a natural disc chaser, so it's really it's
so like I could try to make him chase it, but really like it's got to have whistles on it or something.
Right.
Back in
Also-
the chat,
Yep.
we have Bob coming in here with a here's a big question. Is there any way I could get you three to sign a disc for me? It'd be the new release Lonestar Ranger, and I would gladly pay for shipping and handling for the cost of the
Well, that's
disc.
cool.
And the cost of the disc.
Probably. I mean, it's up to you guys. You guys
Yeah,
have
I'm
to sign
down.
it. I work
Yeah.
at HQ, so he
Right.
knows where to find me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We would definitely be happy to do that.
We
Is
could
that
do
your
it.
guys' first? Is that your guys' first in the comment section signed disc request, or?
In the
This is
comment
our first
section,
signed
yes.
disc request ever.
Oh, that's
Well,
awesome.
No, not.
He said, "Well, maybe for you."
Yeah,
He's
not
like,
mine. I've had to sign one.
He goes,
Okay, well, he
"You can
never
throw
told me
500
about that,
feet.
so
Yeah.
I don't know.
You can throw 500 feet, but I sign discs." That's
Right. Disc.
Look,
No S.
okay, don't-
There's
don't
only
get out
one
here.
S there.
he's out here to like he's going to talk about my 500 feet on a backhand, and he throws plus 400 on a forehand. So I mean, he's in the same boat with his like plus 400 on a forehand, even for professionals, can be
That's
an
insane.
absolute smash. So
yeah.
don't get out here talking about distance with me when he does it on a forehand.
Chandler Kramer, our forehand guy, I think he throws lefty backhand farther than most normal players.
Oh,
Like
wait, is he actually left-handed or?
No, he's right-handed, but because
Okay.
he uses this muscle group,
Yeah.
he warms. When you watch his warm up, when he goes up to the hole, he throws lefty backhand because that's how he warms up. And so naturally, we were making a joke. All the pros were up there, and anytime you get pros together, it's always like, oh yeah, who can throw farther, right? Well, he goes, let me see how far I can throw lefty backhand, and he laces like the perfect shot. And I was like, that was like 325. You just threw like first time ever lefty backhand, and so I don't know when he'll use it because he's so dominant on forehand, but he's got it.
I just want to tell people how hard that is because
So
literally,
hard.
quite literally, my left hand cannot throw a napkin in the trash can. Okay, I this thing doesn't work. Okay, it literally holds a ring, it wears a bracelet, and it's just there. That's it. It's just there. I sometimes can drive with it, probably not the safest, but that's it.
Yeah.
Not drive
Mine's
a disc.
Mine's only good for showing off hand lines. That's about it.
Oh man, I've started to just kind of like doodle around with throwing left-handed every now and again, and I mean I hit switch in baseball, so I could try.
No, I could
It's not
switch
going
hit,
to be great though.
but it was
It's not.
still
I
pulling
mean,
with my right hand. I feel like it's
it's all about translating the motion.
It is.
You just
The weirdest feeling in the world was when I went to Australia for a month and we got to borrow one of the shop owner's cars. He goes, "Hey, do you know how to drive stick?" I said, "Yeah, of course I know how to drive stick. You know who I am, right?
Right.
Of course I know how to
Right.
drive
Not there.
stick." And so
Unreal.
he goes, "I got a
Kick
ute. Yeah, I got a ute for you." I said, "Okay,
Yeah.
it's a utility, so it's a truck." He goes, "Yeah, it's stick shift though." I said, "It'll be fine." Well, I get in on the passenger side because it's Australia. And I quickly realized my left hand is going to be doing the shifting, and I was like, okay, this is a whole new experience, right? It's kind of like, hey, here's a check for $1 million. You just have to sign it lefty perfectly. Can you just go ahead and do that, or and then drive on the opposite side of the road? Yeah.
good. Good luck.
Yeah. So the fact that he was able to take his muscle memory and just kind of go, oh yeah, it's the same motion that I do here. I just have to work on release.
Yeah.
Sure. I wonder if his
But-
lefty backhand is farther than his righty backhand.
Mm.
Because he's stronger. Those
Yeah.
muscles are already kind of built up. I wonder. Maybe I'll do a video. I'll do a Chandler Kramer video for y'all.
You have to. Oh, I would love to see it. Oh my gosh. So I have to go backwards in the comments here for a second. One of the things I was laughing about before we started getting into Ethan's napkin throws was Bob's out here saying, "Well, there you go again, Josh. A new disc, the Ray Charles the Gentleman's for the blinding shots."
Man, so it's funny because so people are like, well, why wouldn't you did you get him when he was blind? Yes, I got him when he was blind when he was a puppy. He was 8 weeks old. There's so much that he's capable of. You see him kind of walking around. He actually stared into the soul of my webcam, and I was like, "Can you see?" I was like, "Yeah, see there you."
Look, he's
And so
doing it again.
He's like,
He knows.
you would
He's
never
staring into
assume
my soul.
if you came into my house, you would never assume he's blind because he's mapped the whole place out already, right? He knows where everything's at. It's actually similar. So we've actually been working with trying to talk with certain disc golf groups that work with people with disabilities, and one of those, I don't know if you know this, but blind disc golf is a very popular thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's
It is.
kind of because you would think like, well, I want to be able to like see the disc, but they still get the enjoyment of going out, having fun, right? It's an exercise, and so I think that would be awesome to include Charles some way in
It
that.
really would. That would be so cool.
So that's something that's future plans trying to work on and kind of put together in that regard.
There's either already a course or they're building a course right now at the Tennessee School of the Blind.
Oh, that's
So,
awesome.
yeah. So I don't know if it's done or if it's
Mhm.
still just in the works, but yeah, that I noticed that, and when I first heard it, I was like, I mean, it makes sense. All you really have to
Yeah.
know is, how to throw a disc,
Mhm.
and there's definitely I know Tennessee also does the disking for the deaf, where
Mm.
it's like
Yes.
only deaf people that can enter the tournament,
Yeah.
and
I was really mad about that recently. They had one of those tournaments that
it
was
was such a
recently,
good
which is
it was
fine,
such a good
He said-
course.
which
I was
is
really
really
mad
cool.
about that.
Like don't get me wrong. It's awesome that they do that, but they had a tournament that was like 3 or 4 weeks before that was an anybody can play, and it was supposed to be a fundraiser for their organization, and I really wanted to play it. And I was going to even donate a little bit of extra. I was going to sponsor a couple of tees under Tennessee Twos. They canceled the tournament. I was so
Oh,
mad. I
no.
was like, and I can't even play the other one because I'm not allowed.
Well, I was gonna say if you guys do find out if they are building a course out there and you know somebody there, we'd love to help out with whatever that looks like. So
Yeah,
in whatever
absolutely.
fashion, you can drop my name and you've got my email. Please plug us in. I mean, the biggest thing about growing the sport of disc golf is growing it in all aspects of the sport.
Absolutely.
Seniors, women, men. Whether it comes to disabled, we work with a lot of veterans, right? So one of the owners of the
Yes.
company is a Navy veteran. And so we try to help out as much as possible. We're trying to work on a lot of future, I call it legacy building, right? So
Right.
for me, I want to make the name of Lone Star Disc internationally known at all levels. There's no point in trying to just go, yeah, we just make discs and yeah, we just do that. If you can't turn it into a philanthropy effort where you're helping the excess by helping other people, then there's no
Right.
point.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of Navy veterans, did you guys see Top Gun Maverick?
I have not yet.
bro, man, there's been so many things going on in my life that like I've been like, why are all these Doctor Strange spoilers happening? The movie just
Right.
came out last week, and it's like a month ago. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
Listen,
is
like
fun.
there are not a lot of movies that I'm going to be like, wow, you should really get to the theater and see this movie.
I've
But
heard.
if you are a Top Gun fan, anybody who is out there listening and you haven't seen it yet, go and see it. I'm not going to be one of those guys who says, there's been a lot of people who said this, like, oh my gosh, it was even better than the first one. I'm not going to say that. The plot, there was one plot hole that I was like, that was a little, but everything else, like the movie was outstanding.
You just went for Miles
Would
Teller
you consider
shirtless, right?
top top notch? Top.
I mean, 100%. Duh. What else would
He's
I be
like,
there for?
he's like Miles Teller and a mustache, shirtless. I already bought
It's
pre-sale
like,
tickets.
I already
Come on.
googled it. What do you
I
mean?
mean,
I mean, what?
the only other guy I'm going to the movies to see topless is Ryan Reynolds, and
I mean, yeah.
yeah. Henry Cavill stopped. He's doing The Witcher, so
Right.
what's
Yeah,
the
well,
point?
I never really liked him much as an actor until The Witcher. Like I've loved a lot of
Wow.
the movies he's done, but as a solo actor and solo performances, The Witcher is like that was the one where I was like, I really like him for this type of role. He's great.
Wow. I don't know whether to be disrespected on his behalf or my own.
Like, don't get me wrong, I really liked Superman. I
Man of
really did.
Steel? Come
Man of
on.
Steel was like I liked him playing Superman, but I feel like there still was somebody who could have done it better.
Michael
I
B.
don't know.
Jordan.
Look, if we want to talk about an actor who was disrespectful to their role, we just need to talk about Batman and what happened in the Justice League and Batman versus Super, because
Dude,
that was a
uh,
disrespectful performance.
I was so excited for a Batfleck solo film. So excited for a Batfleck solo film because he was
Yep.
finally a tank, right? I'm just a pissed off old man with a lot of muscle mass. Like, because I aspire to be that one day, right? That's like one day I'd love to, the money comes later on, of course. But
Right.
just the ability when you're watching him just fighting with dudes and throwing them through stuff, I was like, this is gonna be great. And then they're like, we're going a different direction. You're like, fantastic. All right, we were just getting through all the bull crap to get to his movie. Now we're
Mhm.
here.
Yeah.
Um,
That
I,
being said, I mean,
yeah.
the new Batman, I'm very skeptical about the choice to have Robert Pattinson as Batman, and I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was a great performance. I
Yeah,
really did.
I've heard a lot of good things in that regard. What's I've been finding myself, man, the older that I get, I keep finding myself the older I get. By the way, I'm only 28 years old. I know I look like I'm 42. But the older that I get, I find myself wanting to just stay home and turn on my big screen TV with my, little surround sound system. It's like computer speakers, are like $100, right?
Yeah.
Obi-Wan is one of the best things. If you haven't watched Obi-Wan yet, if you are a Star Wars fan, holy crap, dude.
No
Like,
spoilers. I was waiting for a few more episodes to come
oh,
out so I could just binge like
spoiler
4 or
alert,
5
he
hours of it.
dies.
Oh no.
Did you know that Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father? Biggest spoiler alert of all time.
What?
He said what?
For,
Oh
for those of you
god.
who are listening at a later date here and can't see what happened, I took my headset off and I walked away for a second because spoilers, man.
Tears
I just
streaming down his face right now.
Yeah. Okay. I do want to touch back on chat just a second.
Yes. Yeah.
Bob says, "Yes, sir. I am the president of the Veterans Disc Golf Club chapter in Texarkana, and the main quarters is out of Tennessee. Works with disabled veterans in all aspects and their family members to help in the community and introduce disabled veterans and their families to disc golf." I was actually going to bring that up when we was on that topic. It just didn't kind of arise yet. But the Veterans for Vets disc golf chapter in Tennessee is huge. It is
Yeah.
huge. They do weeklies, they do monthlies, they do tournaments left and right. They do so much in the support category. They deserve a huge shout out. And anybody doing anything to help a cause, shout out to you, shout out to your family for allowing you to do any and such thing. Because the world needs more people like y'all.
100%. I love it when people step up, man. Volunteer work is just that. It is a commitment. You got to step up to the challenge. You got to rise up. There's every single day. I wouldn't be able to do what I'm able to do without the team captains on our team liaison. In fact, shout out to Meredith, Catherine, Tanner, everybody that helps us, right, in all regards, because we are a small company. People think that, oh, you guys are like Innova and you're like that. Put it in perspective. We have more machines that create discs than MVP had in 2020.
Right.
So we have
Wow.
5 machines in total right now running with the crew that we have, which is not, I think we have, like I said, I'm the front half of the mullet. So anything you see media wise, production wise, video content, photo content, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram is me. And then I've got the owners who are making all the big conversations. Terry Dillard. So it's the Dillards and me, is what I always like to
Right.
say. It's Terry Dillard is the main overseer. He's the main guy, right? I call him the big boss. Then you've got Travis St. John. Those guys are also owners of the company. And then you have Brittany, who's the daughter, who's also in operations with the company. I believe she's also an owner. But if it wasn't for the work that everybody puts into this company, it would not operate. And so
Absolutely.
it's a blessing to have guys like, Mr. Fleeter and Mr. Boothie and everybody kind of helping out, who are on our team, who do it for plastic or for, to be a part of something, because I want them to be a part of that legacy that in 10 years, people are going to look back and go, man, the inaugural group of people that were on the team Lone Star helped propel disc golf, not even just the
Yeah.
brand, disc golf into what it is today.
And I
Yeah.
mean, huge shout out to all of the people which you mentioned, the guys and girls that are, including you, that are on Lone Star. It's kind of crazy how it went from being like this company where, oh, there's a new startup company, cool, and was like, wow, there's several different brands coming out this year, and we get used to seeing like, okay, this plastic feels nice, this plastic feels nice, and then out of nowhere, all of these companies have one row of discs
Yeah.
in a store, and then Lone Star has 6, and
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
okay, so they're taking it a little bit, they're diving, straight in head first,
So
and
it's so wild, man. I mean, So you're big, we call them the top 5, right? So when you
Mhm.
look at, you go to Infinite's website. I love using Infinite because they care about the statistics, right? We always said
Yeah,
that we're
they're not
statistics
biased
guys.
at all.
No. And so they go, hey, here's what discs sold from this manufacturer. The amount of companies that are made by MVP, Innova, Latitude 64 is insane. There are so many companies out there. Gateway's another one who has a ton of companies underneath their belt that they're
Yes.
helping out with, right? And to be us, where we go, okay, we're a small fish in a big pond. We make our own plastic. We design our own molds in house. Everything from start to finish, including stamping, is us. We don't have the same limitations that other companies do, where they go, hey, I order from Innova. Perfect example, Discmania. We order all of our crap from Innova. Disc Golf starts blowing up, and all of a sudden, Innova cannot fill the requests that we have for discs.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
what do they have to do? They have to diversify. Well, their brand takes a back seat now because now they have to transfer everything over to Latitude and
Right.
get that all going. And you go, we don't have that. There's no strings on us. We go, the armadillo. Here's the story on the armadillo. I walked into the office one day and I went to Sinjin, who is one of the Dillards, and I said, Sinjin, we've designed a bunch of awesome discs. We need a 1-speed. And he goes, well, like, what do you think? And from there, we took all the concepts of like what we wanted in a 1-speed disc, and that's what made the armadillo. Based off of a conversation where we were bored after lunch and we had nothing better to do at that point in time, and just said, hey, let's make a 1-speed disc. And it's become our greatest mold we've ever made, like so
Right.
far, right? Because obviously the Warbird's taken over.
Right.
The Walker, holy crap, dude! The Walker's insane. The Ranger's
Yeah.
insane.
I can't wait to try the Walker.
Oh my goodness!
That's the one that I
Imagine
was one of the ones I'm very excited about.
it's the perfect blend between a mutant and a justice, where a justice is super round and a mutant is a Cybertruck. The Walker kind of takes the best of both worlds. Again, all of these are our take, right? What do we
Right.
want that disc to be like? And so we get to design it ourselves.
Right.
The armadillo, when we were making the thumb track, I was like, I want the thumb track to be twice as tall. So I don't want it to slope like this. I want it to be tall, and I want it to be twice as tall this way. That if it's wet, you can really dig your thumb into it, and that's something that
Right.
we can control. We're not waiting on another company to make that for us. So
Yep.
that's been a huge part of this whole process.
Yeah.
Terry in here in the chat telling us the pond is getting smaller.
Who said Terry Dillard?
Terry
Yep.
Dillard, the pond is
Oh,
getting smaller.
that's right, baby. I love it.
That's
Man, I tell you what, Terry took a chance on me. So the story of me is I actually left my cushy office job working from home to go do real estate and play disc golf.
Mm-hmm.
And Terry one day came to me. Oh my goodness. All right, so I'll make an announcement real quick.
Wait, I can see it. Hang on. All right. So wait. Before you do this,
Okay.
So we could be the first people who break the news.
You will be the first people. Yes.
Right.
Oh yes, this is good. Okay,
Ah.
Terry, can this go on Twitter tonight? Can I clip this?
Yes. This can
This
go
is
on
going
Twitter,
on Twitter
I'm
tonight.
sure.
All right. But
Terry.
what I did want to talk about was you had just posted on Instagram
Yeah.
the discs and is like the question marks on the flight numbers.
On the bull snake. Yep.
The bull snake, and it was like, all right, guess what this is? And I was
Yeah.
literally gonna ask you. I was like, since this is Tennessee twos, can we get 2 numbers? You know what I mean? And I was like, can we get 2 numbers?
You can get 2 molds. How about 2 molds? I'll announce the numbers and what they are on your show.
All
How's that
right,
work?
let's go.
This is
Okay.
wild. Oh my gosh! All right.
So and then I'll finish. Now all our team members are going here. So let me sidebar real quick. I love Terry for this reason. So I'm a driver, right? So I started making content on a channel called Huck with Hofstra. Terry, I show up to the
awesome.
office, and I've always heard Terry's this, he's a hard ass, right? He's angry.
Yeah.
And he goes to me and he goes, Josh, that video you made about glow, I about cried, dude. I was like, holy cow. I was like, okay. And then he offered me a position part-time, and it was good. It was a very good offer, and so I
Right.
could not refuse. And then 2 weeks later, he said, well, how'd you like to work here full-time? So that's how I came to be here, was he believed in what I was doing. And I love having Terry as a boss because of reasons like this. I'm a driver, and this guy's pushing my foot down on the pedal while I'm steering the, he's like, I want you to go faster. So
Hey, it's like all you gotta do is be able to steer.
yes,
And you open your eyes and steer.
yeah, and he trusts me to do that. And I told him
Mhm.
every day I go into this company, it's not mine. I don't own a stake in this company whatsoever. But we had a conversation about this today. Somebody was trying to, get an invoice request, and he goes, why do they think it's your company? I said, because they're talking to me. I was like, you're the owner of the company. I make that very clear every time I have a conversation. But Terry to me is the perfect boss to have if you are a driver and if you want to create something, right? Because he will be on your ass every day, which is awesome. I love it. So, the Chupacabra. So we haven't announced the Chupacabra yet. It hasn't even been PDGA approved, but Terry Dillard just gave us approval in the comments. We are making your next favorite 9304 disc. I have thrown it myself. The Chupacabra is a lot closer to, say, like a Captain's Raptor than it is a Firebird. Firebirds, as
Ooh.
we all know, have gotten to be a lot straighter.
Yes.
Right.
Chupacabra is mega beef, and boy, do I love it. You can stick it on whatever any angle, big spike hyzer. That thing holds like crazy. It is super overstable.
A four-hander's
awesome.
dream.
Four-hander's dream. Yeah, I mean, again, utility disc. I was using it at a par 2 event, and it was the lowest score that I had shot at the par 2 event in like ever, actually. I was 3 strokes lower than my best ever score using a Chupacabra because it's just reliable. I can suck at throwing forehands, and I know this thing is always going to dump super hard to the right. It's so overstable that we went back and forth for about 2 days on whether it was a 9.3 with a positive one or a
Right.
9.30, which is amazing. So
That is awesome.
there's other team members that are now in here.
They're like, oh my God, so glad we popped in here.
Yes, exactly.
Absolutely. And welcome. We appreciate everybody coming in.
Yeah, of course. I did share this to Lone Star's main page, so we will get some interaction there.
Terry says no one will ever tell me they flipped it.
Yep.
That's okay. So let me talk about the bull snake, and then I will talk about that story because that's a whole other thing. So
Also,
the bulls,
yep.
yes.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're fine.
Kind of start out with the detail on the bull snake because that's one of the best graphic designs.
Oh my
For
lord!
the
So
stamp, I absolutely
yes,
fell in love with that. I was like, whoever, I don't know who did the artist artwork or whatever,
yes.
but it was amazing.
So
It
we
was so
actually
good.
ran a competition. So we did an artist series competition. So Sinjin has come up. Sinjin is like our graphic designer. I believe he's vice president is his official title. We try not to have titles, but when you're talking to people, you have to
Right.
have something to go. I'm the
Right.
janitor. Okay, well I don't need to talk to you. I need to talk to somebody who's not in
Right.
custodial engineering, right? And so we've made our own stamps up until this point, and then Terry one day, again being the driver of drivers that he is, goes, hey, we need to have an artist series competition. I'm willing to put money on the line for first, second, and third place. Those people that win, we can have them, get discs with their artwork on it and cash. The winning design, I believe his name's Bill. I can't remember his last name. Starts with an S, I believe. But this guy, Bill, knocked it out of the park. I think he was one of the first entries that ever showed up in our inbox, and it's insane. We were never going to name a disc the Bull Snake, and then that
Imagine
thing
having to
came in, and
come
I was like,
after that. You know what I mean? Like if that's the first entry that comes in, and then everybody else is just not knowingly sending in their stuff, and you're just like, wow,
you would be
wow,
shocked how
wow.
many artists are
Wow.
out there that are so good. The curl, we had another Alicia Graham who's on our team. Her curl design is absolutely gorgeous. It's got this like nautical kind of
Yes.
compass on it. In fact, the armadillo was the artist series stamp is done by an artist Bradley Keene. He also did the Warbird and the new Mockingbird stamps for us, and then the Lone
Seen
Star
that.
Ranger. That's
Yep.
everybody loves the Ranger. Is a
Right.
tattoo artist named Cody Dresser who does anime style art, which is why it looks
Oh, it's
so
so
freaking
cool.
good.
That does.
Um,
Y'all stamps are killing it right now.
Yes.
So
So we work with a line of artists to kind of bring our ideas to life where we go, hey, the stock stamp will do the Alamo, kind of
Mhm.
missionary, put
Right.
that in there, and then we can let them kind of take over. So that frees up Sinjin to do more graphic stuff with like our tents and our booth space and stuff that's
Right.
like hardcore behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. All right. Now, for everybody listening, this is a proposal. I'm claiming intellectual property here, so just feel free to contact me. Actually, I really have no intellectual property here because I'm going to tell you you're going to need to purchase the rights to this. But you know how you get all these companies who do different stabilities or
Hmm.
different models, or they change the model slightly or whatever. So like the Rock 3, or a Crank and a
Yeah.
Crank SS. If you guys ever change the stability on this bull snake and do like a rebranding and redo it, I'm going to tell you, you need to call Nickelodeon up. you need to get the rights for the name Alaskan Bullworm.
I was gonna say the bullworm.
The
Yes.
Alaskan Bullworm.
We're expanding on a couple different ideas on some of the molds that have already come out,
Yeah.
and what we can kind of
The
get away
Mad
with.
Max cat.
The Mad Max. So yeah, so stamp design again. The best part about working here, and I could have the bubonic plague, and if I wasn't worried about getting other people sick, I'd show up to work every day. Because if I miss a day of work, I've missed a month's worth of work in real time. We do so much on a daily basis that
That's
other
wild.
companies cannot compete with us, right? So again, like the
Love
Chupacabra,
that.
that came from one of our team captain Tanner Gerard. He got real, he kind of Louisiana, East
Yeah.
Texas kind of accent. He's man, gotta make this thing, man, Chupacabra, man. We gotta, and I was like, everybody was like, all right, like,
Yeah, that's fine.
like,
Chupacabra!
yeah, Tanner, yeah, like, and so it's kind of funny how these things all come about. Again, it's still a Texas-based name. It still has to do with Lonestar Disc. The funniest thing, again, going back to Terry's comment of, I can imagine saying it now, no one will ever tell me they flipped it. So pros, right? So Terry plays disc golf now. I play disc golf. Of the people working at the facility, our average distance is like 300 feet, right? All the people combined. And so trying to get somebody that can bomb it, you have to call in a pro. Hey, you can
Right.
throw this Warbird 500 feet. And they go, oh, this thing's flippy. And you go, the Warbird's like the biggest meat hook for like half the people on our team.
Right.
And so Terry's biggest thing was, I'm gonna make a disc. None of these guys are gonna be able to flip. And you go, okay. The first thing, right? We brought out Charlie Moore. He's out there just jamming on this thing, trying to get it to do whatever. Terry rolls in, right? I think he had a doctor's appointment. Terry rolls in at like 9:00, rolls the window down. Hey, Charlie. Charlie goes, hey, what's up? He goes, could you flip it? And he goes, no. And he goes, all right. Rolls the window up and keeps driving off. I was like, Charlie's like, he didn't even ask about flight numbers. I was like, he doesn't need flight numbers.
Doesn't need
he just needs to know that you didn't flip this disc, right?
Yep. That's awesome.
I love telling that story because it's like, again, we get so hyper focused on something because we can, right?
Right.
We can get down
You
into the
have that
nitty gritty
ability to.
details of this disc, no matter who throws it with whatever off axis torque, you're not going to flip this thing because that's how we designed it. Speaking of which, the bull snake's flight numbers.
Dun,
So the
dun,
bull
dun.
snake, what we wanted to do was kind of create our version of something that's going to be your overstable slow speed approach disc. Because the Walker is great if you want to compare it, right? They don't like comparing molds to other molds, but unfortunately, with the way that the world works and the industry we're in, we have to compare it.
Sure.
So the bull snake's numbers are 3 speed, 2 glide, 0 turn, and 4 fade.
Ooh.
And this thing is deep. So it's great for forehand flicks. You can throw it super hard on a backhand. It'll dump out of the air. It only comes in Victor plastic, which means it's going to be ultra grippy and it floats in water. So I would compare it if you took a zone, an A2, and a harp, and you put them all together into one disc.
Okay.
That's what this feels like. It's got a big
That's
rounded
wild.
shoulder. It's got a rounded shoulder on the top. So it takes some of that quality from the Jackrabbit and then immediately goes
Yep.
down and goes far down on the side. So you can really kind of
Right.
get underneath it. It's going to be awesome, man. I think we're rounding out our lineup to the point where it used to be funny. I used to bring this up to Terry all the time. People used to go, the curl's too flippy. You got to find a stable curl. And then we made the Warbird. And then people go, well, the Warbird is, it's too overstable. And you go,
Right.
we had the buoy that's more overstable than the Warbird. Okay, so then we make the Tumbleweed. And then they go, well, the Tumbleweed's awesome, but, I need it in like a 7-speed. Okay, so then we make the Guadalupe. And it's like, it's funny to watch how it
Right.
evolves. Everybody has their own take on what the next disc should be. And I feel like this is one that people have been asking for a while, which is our version of that slow approach disc that's overstable that
Right.
you can rely on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
I mean,
and
you're
it's got sick artwork.
the thing is like you guys and girls are like flooding your disc lineup with amazing molds right now. So
Yes.
all of these other small companies that are sponsoring players and are having to do like 50% sponsors, 75% sponsorships, just because they don't have the ability to fill every need.
100%.
You guys are not going to have to do that. You know what I mean? Because everyone's going to have their own personal needs met by y'all's molds because y'all are
Mhm.
just on top of
And
the
the fa-
game
and the fact that you're so close to doing that in
in
12
this short of
months.
time. Yeah,
Hold on, in 6 months. Because what's
I'm
funny
gonna
is it's
I'm going with the including the 8 molds from before January.
yes. Well,
Okay.
this is why I'm laughing. Is I'm just going. Um, so they hired me on in October, and we were really kind of able to get our bearings on the social media side, which
Mhm.
helped with building hype, which helped with going, okay. Terry started getting into disc golf a lot more. He started going out and playing, and it was funny because a lot of the molds that we've made have been because Terry goes, "Well, I need a mold that does this." And you go, "Okay." So some of these were Phil Terry's bag mold with the end goal where Terry every day was going, "Hey, this year has been awesome for us, right? Been a great kind of breakout year for us. We started in 2019. 2022 is the year that we decided to go, hey, you know what? We're going to get hyper focused on this. We're going to start releasing molds. Terry's already looking at 2023 and going, well, we're already going to dominate. There's no reason why we won't. And I'm going, okay, I'm over here driving, right? You're telling me to do those
Right.
things. I'm driving. You're in the car 6 lanes ahead of me, right? Going, hey, I'm already looking at 2023. We're gonna have a full bag lineup. People are asking, why are you releasing 2 molds a month? Why are you releasing 3 molds a month? Well, guess what? There's pros that are gonna want to join our team next year who are gonna need
Absolutely.
a full bag, and we've got it coming.
Yep,
So
there is
Yeah.
so much
Oh yeah,
interest
absolutely.
around you guys right now. It's unreal. Um, one thing, so I this is kind of if Terry, if you're out there, and listening to chat, this is a question for you as well. Um, so he's the driver, you're the driver of drivers. So you are the Mario Kart, he is Mario. Let's put it like this. Okay. So you guys in 2023 are going to be way ahead of, old DK back there. And uh, what is the
that's
banana
Donkey
peel?
Kong, by the way. That's Donkey
Yeah,
Kong,
yeah,
by the way.
sorry.
What's
Uh
what's funny is there is no banana peel for us. We have star power, right? We're
So
okay, what's the star power? All right.
the
What
star power is our plastic is our plastic. We don't use the same industry standard plastic that everybody else is having problems getting.
Mhm.
And so, if at any point in time, I made this comment to somebody the other day, if at any point in time we had to turn the jets on and go all 5 machines working on nothing but disc golf, that's a good day because
Yeah.
that means we're making hand over fist money, right?
Right.
right.
Now, with that being said, getting the material to run on all 5 machines is what the industry is experiencing right now, as well as a lot of these companies that are making the plastic are overseas or are in parts of the United States that are having issues getting the supply in. So,
Right.
um, realistically, there's nothing that can stop us. The
Right.
only thing that can stop us is anybody. I
Just
literally I can't think of
silence.
a single thing. It's
Silence.
I
like
can't. I mean, I can't
yeah,
think of it because so officially PDGA approved. You're up to how many molds right now?
18, 19.
Okay,
And
and so
working on 2021.
by
Yeah.
the end of the
Well,
year, you're gonna be
Well, all right.
let me just
PDGA
say,
Yeah, no,
approved.
never
so
mind.
I tell
I
Terry this.
just take that back. It's fine.
So let me
Let me
tell
get a
Terry
double
that.
take.
I went to Terry again. I know how to keep a secret really well. It's my job to, right? I run the social media side, but
Right.
it's also my job to build hype. And so Terry lets me take some of these discs to go test them out at Spring Valley, which is our local pro shop, and go kind of show, hey, this is what this new thing's gonna be. It'll be coming out in a couple weeks or whatever, just to kind of showcase it, right?
Right.
I specifically told Terry, do not tell me what molds you're working on next because I'm going to get too excited. Like I'm going to get
That's the way
like
I
we were
am over here. I'm just like,
Look, I mean, there's a lot of things that you can just get hyped for, and you
oh
can
my
like, all right,
goodness.
I can wait. This, I know, I'm not gonna post this until December. New
Yes.
molds is not one of them.
So let me put this in perspective for you. I didn't know the Walker was releasing until like we already had the mold in the building and the Walker was made and sitting on the desk and I was going, "Oh, are those Rangers?" And he hands one to me and I was like, "Oh, okay."
okay.
I was like, "What is
Oh,
this?" And he's like, "Why don't you go throw it?" He just likes to be a badass like that. Yeah,
Hmm.
why don't you go? Yeah, I made this. Yeah, why don't you go throw it? All right, Terry, fine, I'll go up front. And so it was so amazing that on release day for the Walker and the Lariat, which again, two of the greatest molds I've ever thrown in my life. And I've told you guys, I'm a fan of disc golf. It's awesome that we make the disc in house, but I love disc golf as a whole. I've thrown every brand, right?
Right.
yeah, absolutely.
I truly rest my hat on the fact that Lonestar is that company because I've tried it all. The day we release it, I find out that we already have another 2 molds, and they're sitting right next to me. And I go,
It's like so
"When
ahead of the game right now.
when does it stop?" I was like,
It never
there's no
will. It
stopping
just
it."
doesn't
Yeah.
have to. I mean,
I'm going,
look at Innova. Look at how many molds that they have.
yes.
They have overlapping and overlapping and overlapping
And
molds,
Now I will
but
say
they've
that.
had such a massively free ride this year too, because they haven't had to release
Yes.
anything new.
the
No,
Toro is
It's
oh,
the
been
only thing.
outrageous.
excuse me.
The
They
Toro.
released the power driver
Oh
and
yeah. Let me
the
just be real
dovetail.
original. You know,
That's like I said, they've had a free ride
I
this
will
entire year.
The
completely.
mid-range.
It is like almost a disc mania over there. It's
What?
crazy.
Wow.
Oh,
If
my
you had to
bad.
coin if you had to
Oops.
coin the phrase, I guess that's what you would call it. Wow.
And then
It's like manic. I don't know.
I loved the Twitter post like when they're
Yeah.
releasing these two, because they always say
They
get
want it
ready
like that.
for, and
Get
then they
ready.
say get ready for the original PD, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what?
Like
Am
no,
I
like
supposed
it's like
excited about this? This is a
we're
mold you've had in your lineup for.
yeah, we're over this already.
Trust
But
me.
anyways,
The
so I bring up the numbers of molds that you have just
Yeah.
based on something like, for example, we'll look at DGA, who
Hmm.
currently in their lineup they have something like 22, 23 official molds, and that includes at least 3 of those molds being replicas that are slightly changed, such as the Hurricane and the Hypercane and the Steadies.
Yep.
Like
Yep.
you're talking about slightly modified versions. If you take those out, you're talking they have 19-ish molds,
Oh
and you're
yeah.
already there. And they had 2 of the biggest signings of the offseason.
yep.
I think that's the big thing for me is 20. So I'm a COVID disc golfer. So I'm one of the guys that came in around the time of COVID. Sorry everybody. Yes, I was taking over the course and playing and not understanding. Luckily, I know how, courtesy works from playing actual golf. But in such a short time, I absorbed so much information, and I've surrounded myself with Hall of Famers. Andy Young, our
Right.
local pro shop owner, she's number 2094, guys.
Woo.
She is the matriarch of disc golf in Houston. And just being able to sit there and talk with her all day, right? I'll go up on Thursday nights and I'll just sit there, I'll play my par 2 round, and then I'll talk with her for 3 or 4 hours afterwards about ways that we can try and make this industry better, right? Because she's been in there since the 80s, right? I think maybe even the late 70s. She is the director of the Disc Golf Hall of Fame. And so everything that I do now leads back to her eventually, right?
Right.
It will make its way into the Hall of Fame. And so companies like DGA, right? First in disc golf. Their marketing is fantastic.
Yes.
Their guy, what's their guy's name?
Tyler
Their
Brickley.
me. Okay, so Tyler. I love the way that he markets. It's so well done. The problem is during 2019, when I first started, DGA was nowhere, like it wasn't
Right.
that big. I didn't know about it. It was kind of underground. And only recently, I feel, hot take from Hofstra's hot
Yeah.
take.
Whoa.
Until they signed Cat and showed how serious they were not showing, hey,
Yeah.
we're here to battle, we're here for that stuff. Even though they
Right.
make excellent product, right?
And they have so for a long time, and there was
Yes.
a point in time where they were considered like, wow, they do great stuff in disc golf, and they slid off the table. And I mean, we had whole conversations about how they've done something so massive in Andrew Marweed and Katrina
Yes.
Allen by bringing in 2 names that are not only going to elevate their brand to a place that it has been in the past, and they need to bring it back up to that point again to be competitive, but they also finally brought in some people to get out of the staleness that they had,
100%.
because
Yep.
their molds were they hadn't created a whole lot of new molds over a long period of time, and it became stale.
Mm-hmm.
The Vortex took off when they released that. It was
Yeah.
sometimes it just takes a little bit of spark,
Yes.
and
100%. Look at us. Again,
Yeah,
2
that's-
years in business. We had 8 molds, and then all of a sudden we go, all right, 2022, we're taking off. We're
yeah,
done.
here's the spark. Let's
Yep.
go. And it might have took 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and then it's like, all right, what is this disc? What is this disc? All right, hang on. Let me check in on this. And when then they
Yes.
check in on this and they see y'all's social media and they're like, wow, okay, because what do you think? How do you think I came in contact with you?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So because I had seen last month and I was like, oh wow, okay, this is cool. And then this month I'm like, all right, they really doing stuff. And I just had to get on there and comment. I was like,
Yes.
I want to talk to somebody. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
I'm that guy.
I was like, I just need to know. Like I want to talk about this. This is exciting for the sport of disc golf.
Well,
Yes.
And I mean, it's crazy too because I mean, you've been making so much noise, and then on top of that, adding so many discs to your lineup. And when the last time I was in one of my disc golf stores in December, I
Hmm.
would never have even stopped to think of if there were anything in there. I wouldn't know because whatever. Well, then come around February or March, and I'm starting to hear some noises being made, and I
Hmm.
start going and looking for it. And rewind back now just a couple of weeks to the last time I was in my local disc golf store, and you guys have a full rack, and I
Oh
had
yeah.
already been hearing noise, and like I'd been I don't remember what disc I was looking for, but I was like, I need a new disc. This is, what I want in my bag. And I started doing some research, and I was like, oh, Lone Star
Hmm.
has one of these. This looks really nice. And I went into the store to check the full rack. It was the only disc that they didn't have.
Oh no. Well,
I
so
don't
I
even
think
remember
that's
what it was off the top of my head, but I was like, "Are you serious?"
so.
I was gonna try it my first time, and it wasn't even there.
I think that's the biggest thing in all of this is we will release quite a few molds this year, right?
Hmm.
That's our game plan. But we don't want to be the next Innova. I don't think anybody at Lone Star wants to have
Right.
60 molds. That doesn't make
Right.
any sense, right? Especially when we can improve upon plastic or we can improve upon our glow. I don't know if you guys have seen our glow yet.
I've seen a picture of the
Okay.
walk. Was it the walker that you did it in, or
Something, everything. We've done glow and so our
I remember
glow,
seeing a picture of it. I don't
yeah.
remember which
If
one.
if you ask anybody out there, we are the best, if not right next to the best glow on the market, which is a huge reason for our explosion in January when everybody's out doing glow golf because
Right.
it's dark at
Dark
5 o'clock
outside.
at night. Um,
Right.
the other side of that is again, we went okay. It started off St. John and Travis went to Terry. St. John and Travis the sons went to Terry the dad and said, "Hey, we want to make a disc mold." Um, and he said, okay. They were into plastics and molding and already before all that. And so he said, yeah, go ahead, make a disc mold. Well, it took off. Word of mouth. One person tries it. Hey, you should make this.
Right.
Okay. They make it. Okay, now this person tries it. Man, I got to get my hands on this. Okay. And it expanded so much in word of mouth that in 2019 or in 2021, end of 2021, they were looking for marketing to go, okay, how can we reach infinite discs? How can we reach a discs unlimited? How can we
Right.
go
Right.
bigger than our local market, right? Andy's store, Spring Valley Disc Golf Pro Shop in Spring, Texas, was the first ever like dealer distributor of Lone Star products. And then we were like, okay, the local market's saturated. We've got that. What is a disc unlimited or an infinite discs or a you name it, right?
Right.
Um, what do they want? And how does this all work? We've exploded with the help of Disc Unlimited, Infinite Discs. We have other distributors that are on the way so that we no longer have to have, issues where Daniel's going out and he's going, dang, man, I'm missing my one favorite disc
Right.
or whatever. You will always be able to find our product on the shelves or online at stores everywhere. Marshall Street's been carrying our product for a while. There's a lot of big names that are starting to wake up to the reality that, hey, a disc golf manufacturer that makes their own plastic can actually be worthwhile having in the stores and people will want
Right.
it. So it's
Absolutely.
super cool to see.
And in the chat, there's a little shout out for you um, from Nathan Adam Tobias. Lone Star is the best in the industry, no doubt, and they are only just starting. So exciting for everything they bring. Simply throwing Lone Star has improved my game tremendously, and above all, simplifying my headspace on the course as far as knowing what to throw is the best part of having a Lone Star field bag.
True. That's
Like,
100% true.
so, but it, I've not seen a bad review. I,
Right.
all right, so
Like, yeah.
and this is not just this chat, this comment thread,
Yes.
nothing like that. Like I've watched and I've seen, I've been following along, and nothing bad is coming from it. Nobody's getting bad plastic. Nobody's getting these inconsistent molds. Nobody's this stuff that you see with
Right.
other brands that are just
Hmm.
commonly known as mistakes are just not happening yet. And
No.
it may
Well, I
not
mean
ever, but
that was
it's just
we had
it's so
conversations on
cool.
the show. We had conversations on the show earlier this year where both of us kind of talked about, when there was all the, what is Innova doing wrong, and why are they losing Ricky and this, that, and the other. And
Yeah.
we had both kind of talked about some things. And one of my biggest things, and I've not bought a lot of Innova this year. I'll be
Hmm.
completely honest. I just haven't.
Yeah, me
And
either.
Me neither.
and
Yeah.
90% of my reason for not buying Innova is because they've been somebody who has been a main staple in my bag for a very long time, and I'm buying inconsistent molds now.
Yeah.
I'm getting rocks that do not fly like rocks. I'm getting shrikes that don't fly like shrikes. you
Mm-hmm.
know, and that's very frustrating to be somebody who's loved a brand for so long and be like, this isn't the disc I bought. This isn't the
Yep.
disc I've thrown for 5 years.
Right.
This is a completely new mold. Why does it even still have the Shrike name?
The
Like
issue with
I don't get
yeah,
it.
the issue with the industry right now is reliability, repeatability, and quality.
Dang
So
it!
there's a
I was
lot.
really wanting you to come up with another R there.
Uh,
You left me down.
uh,
Uh, uh,
Wait, hold on
re-
while I look up synonyms.
reduce,
yeah.
reuse, recycle.
There you go.
No. So, but truly, truly, you look at these companies, the big five, right? We call them the big five.
Mhm.
I'm not going to call out individual companies, but there's companies that get their product made overseas on this side of the pond and not this side of the pond,
Right.
where you go, oh, okay, the flashing on this is a little rough, or I can't get any molds in my shop because it takes 80 weeks to get it over over here.
Right.
And then you have other companies where they're producing so many molds for so many other people that you lose quality when quantity comes into play. And we understand that,
Absolutely.
right? So the entire process from start to finish is so meticulous, right? Every
Right.
day, I handle all the front end stuff. I'm your social media guy. I'm your, hey, I'm the face of the company. Nice to talk to you. Great. But I'm also back in the shipping area putting together boxes of discs for you guys
Hmm.
where you go, hey, we want to do a video on your product. Can we get some discs? I'm back there checking all the discs, making sure that there's no flashing, looking through all the boxes and going, okay, this armadillo has a sunken top, this one has a pop top, this one's flat top, like, you know, looking for those little things that make us the quality brand that people are
Right.
looking for.
Repeatable.
So when we get to the quantity part, we don't have that issue, right?
Right.
Um, and because of that, the number one thing on our website, Terry had me go in and he said, I want you to create something that really shows off the quality of our brand from start to finish. And I made our slideshow where it shows you, hey, the first step is we get the product ourselves, right? The beads come in, we put it in our machine, we do it, right? Comes out and it's hand inspected, hand weighed, put on, we clip off the sprue, right? It goes to the next part. The trimmers go through, they trim the discs by hand. We don't have an automatic trimming process. Every disc that you touch is trimmed by one person,
Right.
right? Or,
Right.
there's a group of people, but each one of them gets one disc and they go through and they are held to a high standard. And then when we go to ship it, it's kind of like the judicial system. Like we each have our own job that happens
Right.
before the disc even remotely makes it out the door. Everything is hand touched and there's quality that's kind of like imbued into the disc. Even the stamping process. The reason why we have so many X outs is because we go, okay, this was a high quality disc, but we stamped it. Maybe the stamp was a little wrong, or we stamped it too
Right.
hard, or and people love that. Again,
Yeah.
I love having a disc that I can buy for half off. I don't know about you guys,
Yeah.
but
And it's cool that y'all offer that. It's
yes.
that's helpful.
Yes. So yeah, so it truly does. I appreciate you guys saying that, and obviously in the comments, them saying that as well. Switching over to Lone Star was the easiest decision I ever made in my life because it took out all of. I'm an overthinker. I'm a Garrett Gurthie on hole 18 at the Portland Open, where I'm
Right.
going. I'm gonna forehand this, and I go, do you really want to forehand? Is that really your strong suit, right?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
and so being limited to right 20 molds, you
Yeah.
go, okay, my whole bag is here. I can season this one in. The other stuff that I laugh when people say that our plastic's going to break in. Okay. It's oil. It's like the stuff that we do is meant to handle like abrasives tests over the course of years. It's not the
Right.
normal plastic that you're getting from the rest of the industry where it breaks in. Hey, I took my, you know, X manufacturer disc and I hit 6 trees on my first time taking it out. Now it's flippy.
Right.
Ours doesn't work that way. It's going to take a lot longer to beat in if it ever does beat in compared to our competitors. So that way,
And
if you buy
Well,
a MIDI,
a lot
you
of
can get
people
another
like
MIDI
that.
that flies like it. Yeah,
Well, then I mean, you get people like us. Like, don't get me wrong, this is not a dig on anybody's company, but for somebody like me who's just kind of a disc nut, I'm always going to try new things. I'm never
of
going to be
course.
brand specific. Well, unless I'm sponsored, then I might consider it. But I'm not good enough to be sponsored, so why am I even talking about it?
Hey,
Um,
good enough
but
is subjective, my friend. Trust
Yes.
me.
but
Don't.
it's
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where like for me one of the most frustrating things is getting a disc that I absolutely love and I trust and I like how it flies, and 4 months down the line that disc is no longer the disc that I bought. I understand like the first month it's not going to fly like it will for the rest of its lifespan, but if
Right.
I have 3 month lifespan on that disc and the first month it didn't fly great, 2 months I get of good flight, and then I have to take it out of my bag?
I
Yeah.
have a
That's
curl that has
frustrating.
been in my bag for the past 9 months. It is a white Bravo curl with a blue stamp. I have lost this
Nice.
disc. I have hit every tree with this disc. It looks like I used it as toilet paper a couple times. This thing's been messed. I've hit power lines. Like, it's bad, man. Like, the poor thing. But you know what it doesn't do? Flip over.
Yeah.
It has the same flight path that it's had for the past 9 months. No matter how much I beat on it, no matter, like, I can tell using our discs what my rating is at, right? Like,
Right.
if I'm throwing my curl 425, I can tell because it's not only going farther, obviously, but I can tell it's going to coast a little bit and then fade back. Instead
Right.
of if I'm throwing it 325, it's not going to coast as far. And it's always been the same disc. It hasn't altered its flight path. Like, again, blows my mind because I was throwing a company where there was a joke about, yeah, you throw this disc for 3 tournaments and then you get a whole new disc, on your fourth
Yeah.
one. Like, it's the same disc. You don't even have to buy another one. And so now being with a company that has such a high, you know, echelon of quality,
Right.
it makes it that much easier. You just go, okay, I buy one that I like, and uh, only way that I'm gonna need to buy another one to replace it is if I think I need a cool stamp or a different color, or again, artist series stamps are so cool, dude.
They are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and to be completely honest, I'm sure you guys are as much as you strive to be as consistent as possible. I'm sure you have some slight variations from press to press, and that's going to happen with any company, and that's not a big deal. But for me to be able to find something and that is a very comfortable mold and only has a
Mhm.
slightly different stability, not -2 to -4 turn
Right.
different stability, right? No, I'm talking like half a point of stability or something like that, because
Mhm.
I like to find comfortable molds and then get more of them and then find the stabilities where they work in. But that's
So
so hard to do with
yes,
other brands
I
because they're
think the
so
biggest
wildly
thing,
different.
the molds themselves. Each disc has one mold.
Right.
I'm gonna say that out loud again. Each disc has one mold, unlike other companies where they make multiple. They go, we have 40 machines and we need to do whatever.
Right. It's like, let's
Our
make 10
disc
molds of the same disc.
exactly. So
Right.
our molds don't change from machine to machine. They all go in the same way. The plastic gets injected. The only way you can tell a different machine was used that day, and this is so freaking cool, and that's what I love about working at a manufacturer, is the way that the plastic pools into the disc. So
Right.
you've seen some Lone Star
Right.
discs where it looks like it has an atomic symbol.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm,
that's machine three. You've seen some discs where it's got this real big ripple effect where it's kind of like a bunch of circles that come out. That's machine one, right? Each
right.
of them fills differently, but it doesn't change the fact that the mold has stayed the same. So that allows us to
Right.
really get creative and go, okay, um, I love, like we were talking about Discmania earlier, when people are like, this line of PDs in this plastic in winter of 2007, they were more stable, right? So that's where that comes from. It's the same mold, but it was just
Right.
run at a different time. And we've always talked about consistency. Now, you can't change weather, right?
Right.
If we make a disc and it's 10 degrees outside and we make a disc and it's 110, they're going to be slightly different
Right.
in the way that they cool, not in the way that they're
Yes.
molded. Um, with that point being said, like you said, I can have a MIDI that's going to fly the same exact way, whether it was made in the winter, the summer, machine one, machine five, all because it comes from the same mold, which is so cool. Because again, hey, we infinite placement order for, let's call it 10,000 discs, and they're all MIDIs. You go, okay, run that machine, just run it all day long.
Yeah.
How many molds can you make? It doesn't matter. We could keep pressing it out. We have material, we have the mold, we have the machine. So even if we only had one machine, we're not running into the same industry standard issue. Everybody thinks the machines are the issue where they go, oh, yeah, they just can't keep up. Well, it's more so they're running out of plastic,
Right.
Right.
right?
And most companies have been very transparent about that. So it makes me
Yes.
really like the fact that people are like, well, they just don't have the molds for it, or they don't have enough machines. Like, no, everybody has said, they've said it out
It's
loud. We
just a
don't
shortage.
have plastic.
I think that's the big thing is in a time where you can go to, I would consider them to be the jocks of the disc golf world. So you would assume they would have the best sports equipment.
Right.
Not going to name names of what company. But you look at them and you go, wow, you got the faces of your company, everybody's fit, everybody's looking good, they're super competitive, and then you find out from their dealers that they can't get plastic or it's in a limited quantity and you can't select what plastic it is. And meanwhile, I get a Discs Unlimited or an Infinite or a local shop or this person or that person who goes, I need 1,000 discs tomorrow. And we go, bleh. And you
There
go,
it is.
okay,
There it
yeah.
is.
Oh, you wanted to order 6 middies and then 106 warbirds and then 2006 BB6s. Got it. Okay,
it.
we can run that like no problem. That's been a huge portion of why we have been so explosive this year. Is we've just we've built our company on a foundation of stone and are moving up, while everybody else is like we weren't prepared for 2019 to 2020. Essentially, we started off with everything we already needed because we knew what we were going to need moving forward.
Right.
Which is amazing.
And so we kind of went back and forth. I'm kind of going back. I've had this question in my mind for a while, but I wanted to ask it.
Mhm.
So have you? I know that you all get pretty creative, right? I
Yes.
mean, that's just part of being in the game.
Mhm.
Disc golfers are creative. We get creative shots and everything. Well, I have a creative mind, so I have a question,
Mhm.
which is, have you
He has no
ever
creativity
tried?
on the disc golf course. None
Yeah.
whatsoever.
What? Um,
You just admitted it. I
Creative
don't know
mind,
what
not
to
a creative
say.
disc golf game. There's one,
there
his
is
mind
there
is
is a
going so
difference.
much he doesn't have time to think about what he's
That
throwing.
now that's very true.
Yeah.
Uh, have you ever tried merging the plastics together? Um, in this fashion that I'm asking is I've never seen it done. Is like the glow swirl. Okay, I haven't seen it done, and I don't know if it can be done.
Glow swirl,
Yes, glow
like color
swirl.
swirl.
It's like color swirl, but
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
You would not believe how if I use the term rudimentary because I know you like words that start with R.
Mm-hmm. There we
On a
go.
very basic level this is. And so
Then
people go, "Wow, this Bravo plastic is so swirly. It's because of the Bravo that they use." Or this alpha plastic is really see-through because of the alpha plastic.
right,
It doesn't actually have to do with that. The beads in both plastics are clear.
right.
You can
It's
shine a light straight through them. It's the colors that we add
it's the
into.
dye that you add into the beads.
So it's actually just beads. It's not even dye. People think that it's like
Oh,
disc dye,
you
right?
just
Or it's like
add different color beads then?
you can add different color. Like it's the same way that the other Discraft, for example, beautiful swirls. Discraft
Right.
has really beautiful swirls.
Yes.
MVP, the way that their injection points work and everything spreads out makes those beautiful like pleats in the disc.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
Right.
Our machines and the way that we do our plastic injection creates our different swirls. We actually did a run. So again, this was kind of a little funny thing that we did because we were getting creative. Terry decided one day that he wanted to make color glow discs. I'm sorry, we have to call them glow colored
Okay,
discs or
glow colored.
whatever. What?
Right.
Yeah, colored glow. Uh,
Colored glow, not trademarked.
yeah,
Hashtag.
exactly. Hashtag colored glow. The ED matters.
Right.
And so he made these discs, right? And for like 2 weeks, we just ran glow in colors. Well, what this did was confuse everybody because I was like, Terry, we have to make an announcement. He's like, okay, go ahead. So I got a bunch of penny putters and I laid them out in a rainbow and colored glow discs. Wow. Now you can get glow in every color. Well, now this confuses everybody because we had previous runs of discs that were non-glow, that were semi-see-through with color added.
Right.
And you go, well, how do I know which one's glow? Well, there's a G marked on the inside. And they go, well, what if somebody wipes it off with alcohol? And then I don't know if it's glow. So we had that run, and now it's rare because we stopped doing it.
Right.
Right. But the concept is still the same. If we added, say, like a cloud gray or a white into a glow disc, I have discs in my garage that are glow that have blue swirls in the
Right.
glow. The
Okay.
problem is that the pigment of the color blocks the light that transmits through the glow plastic,
That's
which
what I
makes it
would
not
want.
glow as bright.
That's what I want.
You want it not to glow as bright.
Right. I want patterns. Okay.
Okay.
I want glowing patterns. The whole disc doesn't have to
Okay.
glow. I'd be fine with a glow rim. All right.
Well, I mean, let's
But
talk about like the radiation symbol, for example. Like
exactly,
that
something like
machine
that
that you
is
have that does that, and only the
exactly.
radiation symbol is glowing.
Yes.
Oh, that would be
That's where
sick.
my mind went, and I'm just like,
Now
please,
here's where I offer you
machine
some advice.
three. All right, machine
Yeah,
three.
machine
Just
3.
kick it out. All right,
Yeah,
get to work.
that's so funny. Well, so that's the thing is like we could do that, right?
Yeah,
And could be a special run, but it doesn't make sense to run that en masse because just you want it. And I think that's been the learning process for us is
we can
trying to
take a
figure
poll.
out. Yeah, I was gonna say
Twitter poll coming up right now.
How many?
trying to
How many you
figure
gotta
out.
have? How many?
I mean,
How many retweets?
I think that's yeah, right. Let's see. One, two.
Terry, you
Trying to do
still
math
here?
in
How
my
many
head.
retweets for
Yeah,
this?
I don't. Yeah, yeah. Terry's actually not a fan of Twitter.
Well,
I don't think I've
That's,
ever seen
he
Terry
doesn't
on
have to
Twitter.
go on Twitter to see it. I
He
can
doesn't have to
screenshot the
know. He just
retweets.
yeah, put whatever words we
He
want.
just needs to give me a number. That's
That's
I can
true.
totally go make 400 Smurf accounts. It's fine.
So the biggest thing in all of that is, you brought up, you said, well, I would be fine if I just glowed in the rim. There's actually been studies and real world. This is what my cousin, he works in our shipping department, love him to death. He has a saying that doesn't really make any sense, but makes all the sense at the same time. And
I
that
love
is,
those.
it doesn't matter. It's in the past. Nothing matters that's in the past. And I go, wow, that's great if you're trying to get through trauma or like
okay.
you want to
Rookie
forget about
Keith.
something. But it's also terrible if you don't know that history tends to repeat itself. And so I don't know if you remember, MVP's reactor plastic was initially in the rim of the disc. Everyone hated it. They thought it was the cheapest gimmick in the world. Yeah, so Terry also has a saying where he says,
Well,
well,
if
if
I
I
were
was
in
in
charge.
charge, and I am, and I always go back to him and I say, well, if I was in charge, and I'm not, because he makes all the decisions. Uh, but now you might have just started something because this is how Terry's brain works. Is he goes,
You're
well,
welcome.
this guy said it, so now we're gonna do it.
At least
There
just
is
send me one. Just send me one. Two. I'll put one on the
Okay.
wall and it'll just glow there.
Well,
So
you'll have
if
to
you
send
added-
4
No.
because that means I'll need 2.
if you added, if we'll go on a little
Yeah.
brainstorm, I'll allow my brain to trickle down this path. If
Okay,
you
let's
added
go.
a small amount, and I mean a very small amount, just enough that it would fill a swirl or fill something, you
Right.
could make a design, but you could not force it to pool up in a way that it would be
Right.
like how you're imagining. Like I couldn't make it mold into a perfect.
No, that's
Anything.
perfect. That's exactly like what I would want.
You're essentially just dyeing a disc before a disc dyer can dye it for you.
Oh god.
How many discs could a disc
Here we
dyer
go.
dye if a dyer could dye discs?
Could you imagine if a disc dyer got a hold of a press machine?
No, just all
I
right.
know, it'd be terrible.
So think about it like this.
Oh goodness.
And it comes out and bursts in.
Mhm.
Imagine just the outside or the inside of that being glow, like the way that it feels. So you could do half of the disc in color and then the other half of the injection in glow. Grabs disc off bedroom wall. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, got to. But yeah, like, would that not be just cool to see flying through the air?
That would be super cool to see flying through the air.
Especially at night.
I don't know. I don't play a lot of glow rounds, so
Well, neither do I, but I'll start.
What's
But I
funny is
mean-
they make glow stickers for that, where like exactly what he said,
That's
you just
not
put
the
the sticker on,
same.
but it's not the same. Yeah,
not.
you
It's
want to
not
be able
the
to use the glow.
same.
That's not the same.
It's just one of those things where it's like, if it could be revolutionary. Or
Who needs
Oh.
gyro when you could be revolutionary?
exactly.
Is that the new campaign slogan for Lonestar
Yeah.
2023?
Remember the Alamo? It was revolutionary. That's our. It's very long. We just
Oh,
condensed it.
Oh my
hang,
God,
hang on.
it's
You
so
gotta
good.
be careful with that. You gotta be careful with that.
It's like, wait.
How
There's
many
a lot of-
RTH?
A lot of people in the country are gonna be like, the Alamo was not a good time in the country.
Yeah, I know.
yeah,
Trust me.
well.
Being a Texan, right? Well, I'm not actually from Texas. I'm from Chicago. So I'm
Being
from
a
Chicago.
Texan-
Hey, he lives in Texas now, though. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm honorary. I've been here for 10 years. And so
That's
it's
awesome.
funny to hear Texas history because it's so diverse in so many different ways. And you hear about the Alamo and you hear about this and you hear about that. And it's just like, it's amazing that we can represent a state, right? I've heard things from people up in the Pacific Northwest where they're like, well, somebody said to me, they said, well, it's a Texas-based company. And I was like, what is the place where we chose listen,
Right.
If
Why
there
does
were
that
no
matter?
lines, if there were no lines between any of the states and we were just the United States of America, would it matter where it was produced, right?
Right.
And then I proceeded to tell them, well, have fun finding your Washington State manufacturer. Congratulations.
Yes.
Look, well, you know what? This
Because you
this
don't
is
have one.
we're gonna have to talk about it. You know, at some point in time, I can't throw Lone Star discs because I live in the Tri-Star state. So
Yep. See, that's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
But look, you know what's kind of cool? All right, this is Tennessee twos, and then you got the Lone Star. So technically, it is the 3-star. It's
Well,
Tri-Star
I
podcast.
laugh at that because you just go, if we thought about that about everything, right?
Right.
Would you buy a Ford or a Toyota or whatever? Tennessee doesn't have a disc manufacturer. California barely has a disc manufacturer. I don't think people in Michigan are going, "Oh, I really need to throw that." Yeah, I think Michigan's MVP and Discraft, and you go, or maybe they're Wisconsin, whatever, and you just go, "Okay, so we have the second largest state in the United States only because we bought a bunch of ice." You know,
sorry,
right?
I can't get over the shade you just threw to California barely has a disc golf
Oh,
manufacturer.
sorry. Did I let my personal feelings slip out on that one, or
I'm so happy he feels the way we do. I'm so happy.
there's a
Oh my
lot of
gosh.
things there's a lot of things in this industry that are just you have to have clairvoyance on. And one of the things that I get to take pride in at the end of the day, and it got brought up in a feed, talking with another manufacturer, I'm always trying to work with everybody.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I believe that disc golf as a whole, we can all come up together and bring the entire sport up if we work together.
Right.
There's no reason why I should hold any grudges against any other manufacturer, right? Why is
Davy
he saying
Crockett.
Davy Crockett? Is that the name of the
Tennessee.
next disc? Oh, Tennessee Volunteer, right?
Yep. The coonskin hat.
Yeah, that's right. I actually owned one of those when I was a kid. I had no idea where it came from.
It's probably best you don't know. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So there's much more questions
I'm here.
that I have. We've already been going for 2 hours, and I just want to thank you because this has been an awesome podcast. But this has
absolutely.
been super fun.
When I told you I could be on for as long as you need me and I could talk to whoever,
Yeah.
I was fine.
Yeah.
Well,
This
yeah, I was like, you chose the right place. This is where you need
and
to
of
be.
course, I'm really okay to continue going. So yes.
Okay. So if all right, I'll put this down. That way I can focus.
All right. There's a lot of attention
I'll go
being
to Texas.
focused on this.
Shit. Okay.
Gotta focus my
Yeah.
chi here. Real
Focus.
Yeah, I was about
Yeah.
to say, yeah.
All right. If you have one disc,
Okay.
all right, one disc out of your lineup, out of your bag, right now, that you was going to tell the world about to try from Lone Star. This is from your personal experience out of your bag. You know what it is.
100%. I've been talking about it the whole time.
Okay.
You can guess what
Yeah.
disc it is.
Well,
All right, I have a
Other
better
than-
question. I have a good modification to this. How about this?
okay.
It's the armadillo.
I knew you was gonna say that. So
So-
I needed to change it. Modify.
So instead of this, how about this? This is what we're gonna do. We know all these companies, especially the big five or whatever you want to call them. They almost all of them have some sort of a starter set. Now you guys
Yes.
don't really do base plastic, right?
No, yeah, all of our
Um,
plastics premium
So
grade.
obviously this is going to be a more expensive starter set because it's premium plastic. But if you were to pick
That's such a
a
good
starter
question.
set, a driver, a mid range, and a putter, whether that's a throwing putter, putting putter, whatever you think, this is if you're new to disc golf and you're going to choose a starter set from us, if you were to build this starter set and package it, box it as an actual set, what would you choose?
Wait, I want to choose. Can I choose?
You choose. Let's
Okay.
hear what he's got.
Guadalupe as the driver.
Ooh,
Midi
that's a
as
good
the
one.
mid, and the penny putter
Ooh.
as the putter.
So what's funny is you were one disc off of our actual starter set, and then we're making another starter set because we
Right,
made some
because
molds.
it's not the Guadalupe, it's
Mockingbird.
the Mockingbird.
So now, me personally, I love to brag on other companies before I brag on my own because I told you guys I would do that. I would be
Right,
unbiased.
you're the. Yeah.
Yeah. So I love the idea of Dynamics starter set, right? neutral putter, neutral mid, neutral fairway that's higher speed. You can use those 3 discs your entire game.
Yeah.
Same
Right.
same thing with ours. We have the penny putter, laser straight putter, right? You can putt with it. It's beadless. Most people prefer to not have a bead in the way when they putt. Midi is overstable, but not overbearing overstable, right? It's
Right.
controllable. And then the Mockingbird, dude, you're talking easy distance. I still utilize that disc for a ton of shots because it is so shot shapeable. Now, my personal starter set would have to be a Jackrabbit
Mm.
or an Armadillo. Again, putting with a thumb track putter is not for
Yeah.
everybody. And
Yeah.
so I like the penny, but if I want to mix things up, I love the penny. I actually putt with penny still. I like the Jackrabbit or the penny putter, either or. And then the Texas Ranger. That mid, holy crap, dude. When we made that, it was. I remember coming into work and Travis is our happy-go-lucky, like, hey man, how's it going? You know, he's always like
Right.
Yeah.
in kind of like that kind of like he's very aloof, right? He's very like free flowing. Um,
I like him already.
Travis, yeah, Travis is awesome. So he walks up to me and he goes, dude, Hofstra. He's like, this mid, dude, you got to try it. And I was like, oh, it's like super beef, huh? Like, he goes, no, man. He's like, you just throw it. It's laser straight. I went out and I threw it. The first time I threw it, I was like, I'm back in love with disc golf again. I was
Right.
like, literally,
Oh,
that
it was
disc
that
like
kind of flight.
reignited that flame. I was just laser straight. It'll fade off a little bit to the right, and then it'll come back left. It's torque resistant. It feels amazing in the hand on a backhand or a forehand. So overall, the Texas Ranger would have to be the mid-range, and then the Lariat. Oh my God. If you have not tried a Lariat, it will revolutionize your game. It is truly a one fade 9-speed disc. Just
Oh,
like the
man.
just like the Texas Ranger, you throw it super hard, super flat, it'll kind of coast up, hold over, and then slowly fade back to the center. It is amazing. I love that disc. So that would be my 3. It would be Penny or Jackrabbit. You choose, right? Then you go with the Texas Ranger and a Lariat. So I'm sure we're going to be adding a couple different starter sets. We'll probably
Right.
make one that's more overstable, more understable. We'll make one for beginners, juniors, women, whatever you want.
Yep.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fine. I
Cup-
mean, I wanted
yeah.
to know what you would throw though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I personally, Penny, Ranger, Lariat. If I had those 3 discs, I can beat 95% of the guys that are out there with just those 3 discs.
Right. Just imagine a color glow swirl.
But
Starter
how did we
set.
get back here?
Oh,
No,
I'm
no,
sorry.
wait.
Colored
ED
ED matters.
Colored glow. Yeah, yeah.
ED matters. If only
Yeah.
Roman
Both in
was our sponsor.
I was gonna say both in disc golf and in
In
male life.
Male life.
Yeah.
RomanSwipes.com.
Oh my gosh.
Free shout out.
It reminds me of the Pat. I don't know if y'all watched that.
Revolutionary.com. I mean,
Y'all
what?
watched
Wait,
the
what?
yeah. The Pat McAfee show. I think they do a really good job. I don't know if you've ever watched that. He's an old kicker
Yeah.
for the Colts.
Oh no,
And they're always like,
I literally have watched every
Listens
single
to it every
episode.
day.
I listen to it every day.
okay, so the pod, I love the way that they lead into it. They're like, and if you're struggling with this,
Yeah.
you get it. Yeah, so trust me.
Yep. So that when you said the ED matters the first time, that's immediately where I went. So at least we're on the same page.
Oh my goodness.
Nathan in chat says the Mockingbird is my all-time favorite driver. I say now the Texas Ranger would be a great mid. Then the Dillo for sure. I beat my friends at a Berghoff, slightly more glide, but still. I
Yes.
approach or sometimes drive with the Dillo all the time.
I tell you
all the
what,
time.
I'm a big meathead, right? So I don't my finesse again. I'm like Brody Smith without an ultimate career. So I'm just a big blocky, stocky guy, right? I don't have as much finesse as the rest of them. I love using an armadillo because while everybody's like, I'm gonna throw like a 9-speed and try to like get it up here, I just throw the berg. I just throw the armadillo as hard as I can, and it goes laser flat, laser straight for forever. The berg, the I tell everybody, I said, if you love the berg, you're gonna love the armadillo, and you're gonna bag both. And they go, why? The berg crashes, right? The berg fades hard. It's made for that. It's supposed to be
Yeah.
just like a brick. The
That's
armadillo
awkward.
is
Mine
the
doesn't.
same. Oh, jeez. Uh-oh. You
My-
got a broken
my-
berg.
No, well, it just goes straight, and then it just like
Is
This
it a
is- that's what-
K3 or is it what is it?
it's a K1.
Oh.
It's soft, right? K1 soft.
I
No.
remember I didn't like the soft because
Oh,
I was
yeah,
like,
that's
ooh,
right.
it's too gummy.
His berg
Yeah.
does not have ED.
It's
Yeah.
maybe I
Oh,
well,
there you
so
go.
my
That
my
was
reason. So
so
again,
freaking funny. It will be overlooked for the rest of this.
no ED, no ED on my. But so for me, my whole game plan, because I don't throw as hard as a lot of people. So the reason I get better distance than a lot of people is the spin rate. I
Yeah,
have very good spin rate, and so that's why the berg doesn't fade for me as hard as it will
that
for
makes
most
sense.
people because I
When
put a
he
lot of
came
spin on
down
it.
the first time, this is one story that do not let this go to your head. You hear me? And um,
You guys throwing
I'm
500 feet.
Yeah,
How much worse
well,
can your
for
head get?
starters, I am so much better than I was that time that I was out with him.
but when
So
he
it's not
comes
going to inflate my
out,
head.
the very first time that, and I take him to this open course. It's got like 20 trees on 18 holes. So, and it's up and down hills, got good elevation, whatever. For the people that are local at Two Rivers, you'll know. Um, we go out there and I'm throwing these discs and they're just going, they're doing what they're supposed to, and he's throwing like the same speed and they're just going straighter, straighter. I'm just like, why? Your discs are just coming out like you do not look like you're throwing that hard, and it's just the spin that you could see that
Oh
he was
yeah,
generating made so much difference. So I was like, I don't understand how to do that.
it's a science, man.
It is. So I was only throwing like 350 tops, and I don't know what we did a doubles tournament, and then after the
Yep.
doubles tournament, the next day we went
The
out,
very next day, we went out to one of the big
and I
long
was just
thrower
like, I
courses
gotta
in his
figure
area.
out what to do, and we got all the way to hole 18, and he was like, try this. I tried it. It
There was a 450-foot smash, just like I mean, it's
Jeez.
a downhill hole, but
it
I mean
Yeah.
is,
the
450
difference that you could
regardless is
see,
still, yeah.
the
but it
difference
was
you
the
could see
first time
from
that
the
I'd ever actually
little bit of
got
the
the
tweak.
disc. I could see that I got the disc up to speed. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
That's huge. People
it
underestimate that.
was.
So there's two factors in everyone's throw:
Yes.
inertia and speed,
Yeah.
right? Flick plays a part into all of that, right? I am an inertia thrower. I'm a big, dumb,
Right.
right? Kind of,
Right.
but it's hard for me to generate snap, right? I have to intentionally kind of have that tip of the whip thing that the guy from Innov always talks about, and go
Which
out there and
I
make sure.
completely disagree with, but okay.
Yes, and I go, okay, so I have to whip it to spin it. My body is just not designed. This wrist does not work that way. Sinjin, who is the again
Right.
graphics designer, VP, whatever, has the same similar build as me, right? He's tall, he's a bigger guy.
Yeah.
This dude puts the most snap. He's
Right.
like like every time he spins it like
That,
it'll spin and like over rotate, and I'm like, how are
that
you doing that? That
that
we
was one of the
do
things, like that was
is
one of his
meant to
comments that
handle
first time that we went out to play, is
like
because the disc literally snaps out of my hand. You hear the physical,
100%.
click, and he is like, "How do you do that?" And I'm like, "I don't know." But so for him, when we went out and we were just like, he just wasn't getting the distance that he wanted, and we could tell he was unsatisfied. And I was like,
hmm
okay. So I pulled out my phone. We did a slow motion of it, and we broke it down. And I was like, you see when you get right here, right, and you've got your arm, and you're just pulling it, and then
Yep.
you're throwing it like this, right? You're
Yep.
coming around. You're not necessarily rounding. You're not going like this, but you're
Yes.
getting to here, and then
hmm
you're throwing it like that. Tuck that elbow in, bring it in, drive
100%.
it through your body, and instantly his spin rate doubled.
You know what else they teach you that in? Baseball. That's why baseball players is an unfair advantage in disc golf. Hot take.
I don't listen. I
Oh,
am
are you a baseball
targeted.
player?
I am targeted in that, and I'm uncomfortable.
I can tell you this. I can tell you this.
It makes sense though.
I think it is easier for both starting at 800 rated. I think it is easier for a baseball player to go from 800 to 900 rated faster than it is an ultimate disc player.
I could see
Just
that.
Yes.
just based on the fact that a baseball player understands your body levers, how they
Yep.
work, release angle, all of that stuff plays a major factor in your swing and in your throw in baseball. Whereas ultimate, yes, it also plays a factor, but I feel like the applied power is a lot greater in baseball than it is in ultimate.
Yes, and so here's the biggest thing that I will mention in terms of those two sports and how they work out. Baseball is 100% related to repeatability,
Yes.
whereas ultimate frisbee, ultimate, whatever you want to, it's so adaptable. That's the
Yes.
whole point. You have to be adaptable. Throw from any angle,
I was gonna
anytime.
say
Get
a
what you're looking
scramble
for.
player, Brody Smith, when he first went out there, the reason why the dude was impressing everybody the first year on tour, because he's like, I'll just like scuba it in from like 100 feet. That's
Yeah,
fine. You're
exactly. So the
like, okay.
adaptability. Now the problem is that the adaptability does not translate in that repeatability when you get to higher levels. Whereas
100%.
As for me, at like being when I was training how to hit and I was getting really good, my coach, my hitting coach was a former Boston Red Sox catcher, right?
Yeah.
And you did the simple things. It wasn't much. You take a couple videos of your swing in slow motion, you pinpoint the 2, 3 things you don't want to do and fix them. And you always overcorrect them to create muscle memory because muscle memory is everything. And there's no muscle memory in Ultimate because the whole goal is to be able to throw it
Be
well from
unpredictable.
any
Yeah,
Oh
angle.
yeah. 100%.
that makes a lot of
But
sense.
yeah, whereas where I come from, and whether it was football, basketball, baseball, I played all of the big three, and all of them are repeatability. When you're shooting a ball, where are you getting
Mhm.
that consistent stroke every single time? Well, do I need to tuck my elbow more? And whatever it is, when you're throwing a football, it's the same thing.
Yep.
The whole sport is built around repeatability, and disc golf is no different.
Yep.
That
100%.
is true. Now, I do want to go back in chat. We've done this several times, but
No, you're good.
it, so every time that she comments, I just like there's always something else that we're talking about, and I just feel like I'm ignoring her, and I'm not. So Faith, Colbert, I'm very sorry, but she had several things to say. Like the Lariat was her favorite disc. She thought that the Texas Ranger is probably compared to the OS Buzz or the Buzz OS. Do you? I don't know about you, but have you ever thrown a Buzz OS?
So I can tell you, she is comparing it to a Buzz that is more overstable. Think 4-claw Buzz.
Oh, an overstable Buzz
Yeah,
rather
so a
than a
Buzz
Buzz
OS would be
OS.
that'd be a mini all day,
Okay,
right? So I tell people I am the encyclopedia or thesaurus of discs when it comes to people walking up to the booth and they go, "Hey man, I've been throwing
a
Latitude
T-Bird.
64, yeah,
Yeah,
or yeah, whatever. What's an Orion LS in this plastic?" You're like, "Oh, okay. Let me think about that because I don't
right.
ever throw Millennium." But uh, for that example, yeah, it does fly very eerily similar to like a 4-claw Buzz, where you can really jam on it and it's torque resistant. It'll hover a little bit to the right, but then it'll always slowly fade back left. So
Right.
I love that in a -1-1. You don't want your typical -1-1 mid ranges are ultra flippy, and I can't stand that because it's
Yeah.
not a true -1-1 at that point. It's just going to turn over.
Right. So because they fly -1-1 out of the box, but after, a week or two, it's a
100%.
-2-0 or a -2-1, -2.51, whatever it is. Because
Yeah.
I mean that's the MD3 that I have in my bag, which I bag it because it's flippier than most because I use it for that kind of shot. But the official numbers on that is, like 5402 officially. It is a
Mhm.
5.5 -2.1 in my
Oh
bag.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
No,
All
I
right.
agree.
Now
That's
speaking
yeah.
Speaking of your encyclopedic knowledge of discs, do you want to play a game?
Oh, I love games.
All right.
All right. Have you ever like get on like TikTok or Instagram or any of these like weird where people do short videos? You're talking about how you've done that kind of stuff in the past.
You mean like every day of my life where I
Yeah, every
spend
day of your
hours
life.
on TikTok and it eats away at my soul? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So you get into these games where it's
Yay!
like, all right, you have 30 seconds to name this football player, and you get as many
yes.
guesses as you want. Be as specific as you can. At the end of it, you have to guess it, or if you can guess it before. All right, we're gonna do the same thing with you. We're gonna
Mhm.
modify it slightly. Okay, we're both gonna have a disc. It's gonna be 60 seconds. You can ask any basically yes or no question. That's
Okay.
gonna be the general rule.
This is
Um,
exciting.
Yep. It's
and
good.
so be as specific as you can. So like for example, if he's gonna ask me something, I'm gonna start generally by brand more often
Mhm.
than not, right? Just go Discraft, no. Innova, yes. All
Yeah.
right. Mid range, no. Fairway driver, no.
Okay.
Distance driver, yes. And do that. You have 60 seconds, and then you got to guess the disc either before that. If you get to 60 seconds, you have one narrowing question, and then you have to guess it after that. Now,
Okay,
the
so it's
one
not a
thing,
physical thing.
no,
Okay.
so it's just this is just based on your encyclopedic knowledge of discs.
All right.
Right.
All
All right,
right.
because you've already bragged about it a couple times, so I got to put you to
Yes.
the
We
test.
we
And
literally
then
go to the pro shop. Side note, we literally go to the pro shop and we will put discs behind our backs and
oh yeah,
hand
yeah,
to each other and go, what disc is this? And you have to go, okay, this is this,
Yeah.
this is this speed. So trust me,
It's
yes.
like that, but now except you're doing it with
But now
words
none
instead
of
of
it.
feel. Yeah,
But
just,
now
you're
none
doing it
of
with
that.
words instead of the feel.
It
All
is
right, now
all of this without any of that.
without any
Same,
of these.
different.
Yes.
Yeah.
Same, but I hate that comment. I've always hated like when people post on their Instagram 2 pictures of themselves and they're the exact same picture, and one of them's looking this way, and the other one they change their eyes to this direction, and they're like same, but different, and I'm
My
like, no, it's the same.
My favorite one is actually the new TikTok trend with Kendrick Lamar. It goes 1,855 days. I've been going through something, and it's always like some white girl with Starbucks where like she got a haircut, and you're like, you've been going through nothing. You
Right.
got a haircut.
Right.
Like, you
There's
literally don't
nothing
know
that's
what
changed about
something
you.
is.
Yeah. I've been going through something. This was
All
a
right.
chai tea latte and not a frappe. That was the difference.
All right. So the only difference to this game is if you guess it right, I'm going to tell you. If you guess it wrong, I'm going to tell you what the disc
Okay.
is. And the last thing I want you to do after that is give me a Lonestar disc that somebody who likes that disc can try.
Ooh, I like this.
Okay.
Because that means you won't choose any quasi weirdo stuff where you're like, it was a paradox the whole time. You've never thrown a -40 disc in your life?
Right.
Like,
I mean,
no.
my first one's kind of weird, but it's
Oh,
a
great.
good one.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to get 60 seconds on the clock here. You let me know whenever you're ready, and I'll count you down from 3.
Okay, so I'm asking you like manufacturers and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah,
Everything.
and you
Okay,
can
cool.
you can be specific too. Like
yeah.
when
Any
you get it down, you're
glide,
like, is it a
Okay.
12 speed? Yes, no. Is it understable? Yes. You know that I will give
Oh,
you
I'm
any yes or no related to the
Ooh,
disc.
this is gonna be so much fun. All right.
Yeah.
Ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Is it produced in America?
Yes.
Is it produced in a northern state?
Yes.
Is it Discraft?
Yes.
Is it a fairway driver?
Yes. Wow, you're on a roll.
Is it a 7-speed?
No.
Oh, is it an 8-speed?
Yes.
Is it an Undertaker?
No.
Is it 8-speed? Is it a Passion?
No.
Is it a 5 Glide?
No.
Now maybe I don't have an encyclopedia of knowledge here.
I
8
know.
speed
I know
You're gonna
this one.
Discraft.
when
I
you
know
hear
this
it, you're
one.
gonna be like, oh my gosh, I missed that. You got 15 seconds.
8 speed. Is it overstable?
No.
Is it okay? So it's understable. Is it understable?
Stable.
Is it neutral? Okay. A
It's neutral to understable.
8 speed, and it's not a Passion.
All right, that's time. You get one more
Okay.
narrowing question and then a guess.
Golly, is it anyone's
Uh.
signature disc?
I'll give you another one because I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay. But I'm probably not going to know it.
I would have to look. I'm not sure. They have so many signatures this year, and I don't remember them all. I'm pretty sure it's not though.
Man, why is everybody sending me messages right now?
They're trying to tell
If you
what
guys
the
are
disc
if you
is.
guys are in chat and you have a guess, put it in there.
Yes.
8 speed, stable Discraft, not a Passion.
I'll give you one more stat. It's a 4 glide.
4 Glide, 8-4, 8-4. It's not a Zombie.
No, that
Okay.
was a good guess though.
Well, it's like you said it was quasi weird, so I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Stalker.
Well, I didn't say that. Nope. It's a
It wasn't
Stalker's
the
7
Stalker?
speed.
Ah,
Stalker's a 7-speed.
dang it.
It's a mantis.
Oh, God, that's so good.
8-4 -2-2.
And
There
I
you go,
believe the
Johnny.
Mantis-
Johnny in chat got it.
Very nice, Johnny. I believe the Mantis is someone's signature disc,
It
It
could
or
be.
it was supposed to be.
Or maybe it was last year that it was. I just don't
Yeah.
I
know
know.
off the
I
top
know.
of my head.
Yuli had some last year or 2 years ago.
Man, I nailed all the. I was like, it's not a Passion, it's stable 8 speed.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was like,
so
wow.
that's why it's stable to understable because
Yeah.
-2, but the 2 fade stables it out. It's like a Valkyrie, a slower Valkyrie.
Yes, yeah, that was a
Um,
good one.
That was
But
a good
yeah,
one.
so Mantis, my favorite disc is the Mantis, but I'm really pining to throw a Lonestar. What should I try?
From what I can tell, is a Guadalupe. It's 1 speed slower, has a little bit more glide, but it has that -2-2. For your snap, I would get it in alpha plastic, which is a
Ooh.
stiffer blend of plastic for spin drivers. Okay, for guys that are like me that are inertia drivers, Bravo plastic is typically more overstable.
Okay.
But for spin, I would get an alpha if I was you, in higher weight, because you're going to be trying to spin that thing up like the moon. And if you guys know
Yep.
anything, rotational inertia, the more snap you have, the higher weight disc you need, because it'll actually slow it down quicker, which makes it more stable.
Right.
Yep. I can't throw anything under 172. I think is the lowest I can throw and
Yeah,
get the result. Usually it's 175.
100%.
All right.
So,
Take two.
take
I'm
two.
ready.
All right. My phone died, so I don't have a stopwatch. I had to pull Chad up over here on this.
Daniel
monitor.
doesn't have a stopwatch on his phone?
Oh,
Or
he's
is he-
got it. That's
I
who
was
he
about to
did.
say.
So I'm
Okay.
like, I'm gonna need you to do that, and
I got you.
yeah. All right.
Man, okay.
I
Uh,
won't show you the time though, because let me
Yeah,
tell
you're
you
fine.
what, it's nerve wracking when
It
you
is.
see the time.
It is.
Just clicking down, your brain turns to pudding.
I love Scattergories, the game, the board game, right?
I just
Scattergories,
about
but then you've
spit
got that
everywhere
annoying
all over my
clicker.
monitor. Golly, yeah, when you said pudding is just that word.
Pudding.
I'm.
All right,
I'll never
Cosmo.
not laugh. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Okay, I'm ready. Are you ready? You count us
Yes.
down.
All right.
I'll just,
Three,
okay.
2, 1, go.
Okay, is it manufactured in North America?
Yes.
Okay. Are they made in California?
Yes.
Dang, I'm on a roll with these initial questions. Okay. Is it a bird?
No.
Oh, okay. Is it a robot?
No.
Is it an animal?
Yes.
Okay. Is it a fairway?
Yes.
Is it a 7-speed?
No.
Is it a 6-speed?
Yes.
Is it a whippet?
No.
Oh, 6-speed Innovas. What are you doing to me? Oh my god.
I think I know what it
Okay.
is.
Is it a cheetah?
Yes.
Okay.
You got it.
Holy crap.
Very nice. Believe it, that was
Like,
I had to bring it out. That was my very first disc ever. Was the
yeah.
cheetah.
I think everyone's first. Well, a leopard.
Oh
but
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like 6-speed, and
Yeah.
it's an animal.
Yeah. I was like,
Leopard and cheetah. That's the
Yep.
only things that came to
No,
mind.
when
You
you
like when I
said
go-
whip it, I was like, that was the last one I thought he was gonna say. I was like, that's such a good guess.
again,
That's impressive that you pulled that out.
Yep.
Again, you guys, I told you the encyclopedia. I know every little thing. Someone messaged me the other day, said, you know, Hofstra, if you came out with a whippet, I think that'd be your high selling disc. I was like, nobody knows what a whippet is. It's like,
Unless
no.
it's on the wrong side of the tracks. I mean,
Yes.
it's different.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Unless you're from over there, yeah. Oh my goodness.
Whip it.
Whew.
All right. I don't have a stopwatch, but Daniel, would you like to go? I have another one.
Sure, but first, I mean, what would be
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, what would be the
To
cheetah
a leopard
of?
or a cheetah.
cheetah?
It
That's a
would probably
6.5 -2.2. Is that what that one
6'4"
is?
-2'1".
-2.1. Okay, so that one you're right in between. A mockingbird
Mhm.
is going to be the closest fairway driver to it, but also a BB6 if you want something that's slower. So that's a 5.5 -2.1.
Okay.
So it's going to be a little bit slower. So if you have a slower arm speed, literally a BB6 looks like we took a mockingbird and we just shaved the sharp edges of it. Has the same amount of dome.
So is it
It's
kind of
very
like a
comfortable to handle.
trident then?
Uh,
The way that it's got the flattish side around.
So if I was to compare it to another disc, it would be close to like a Discraft Soul.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So kind of that flatter edge
Yep.
all the way around, still keeps the dome for the understability. So a Mockingbird would be the closest in a 7-speed, and a BB6 would be the closest in a 5-speed.
Nice.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
You have the privilege of watching your own stopwatch.
Oh gosh, don't remind me. I don't want it.
Woo! I'm on fire, baby.
I don't like it. All right. So
This
one I'm gonna go, but we'll still want a disc comparison for the end of this.
Yes. Is it?
But
It's probably a weird one, huh? Because you like the weird ones.
I don't know. He's giving it to me. I have to guess this time, so who knows what's going on.
Oh, you're
All right.
guessing.
I'm guessing.
Oh.
Yeah, we'll see.
This
He
is
has much.
exciting.
He's the more encyclopedic knowledge of discs than I am.
Okay.
I struggle depending on the brand.
This is very exciting.
All right. And go. Discmania.
No.
Discraft.
No.
Innova.
No.
Subsidiary of any of the major brands.
No.
Okay. MVP.
No.
Lonestar.
Yes.
Oh gosh. Driver.
Yes.
Distance.
Yes.
Oh gosh. You're just trying to hurt me, aren't you? This is pain. This is not fair. Overstable.
Yes.
Ooh, okay. Is that the Warbird?
Nope.
Oh gosh. I don't know which other one's overstable off the top of my head.
I had it wrote down before the
is it-
pod, so just so you know, it just worked out.
Is it the Curl?
No.
Is that understable or
Yeah, it's
Stable.
understable-ish.
what about the Bowie?
Yes. It D's the Bowie.
Very nice. The most comparable disc that we have to a Bowie is in fact the Bowie. Just in
Oh, that's
case.
Yes.
amazing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't want to say nothing because he was like comparison at the end. I was like, well, that's not right. If I tell you it's Lone Star, then that's
Yeah,
like
I know.
15 seconds.
Yeah, see, I actually like when I'm first looking at brands, I try not to look at flight numbers too much because they
Yeah.
don't generally match up very well for me
Oh Lord, don't even get me
until
started.
until I start looking for like specific flight paths. And then if I'm looking for a flight path, I'll start looking at numbers and trying to find reviews and videos and how people throw it. That's the only time. So I don't even know any of your stabilities off the top of my head.
Well,
Like,
I can tell you this is the one good thing, right? I'm a big fan of companies not making multiple, right?
right,
I was previously a huge trilogy fan, and so the best part about these companies being big like conglomerates, right, is the
Right.
fact that Innova and Discmania had the same flight numbers, right? And you go, oh, these correlate. Okay, trilogy between West Side, Dynamic Disc, and Latitude, the numbers all correlate. A Compass flies like a 5501, and an EMAC Truth flies like a 5502 when you throw them side by side.
Right.
Unfortunately, what we have learned is that Trilogy doesn't have overstable discs in their lineup, according to the numbers,
I didn't say anything.
but only according to the numbers.
We actually brought this up one time and we were like, what would be the Onyx in the trilogy, right? And we're just like in dynamic. It was more dynamic than
It would be a
anything.
Raider.
And the Raiders don't really fly. That's the problem.
Yeah, so
Right?
here's the thing.
This-
Dynamic, everything is like a speed higher. So your
Yeah.
Trespass is supposed to fly like a Wraith.
And
And
it
a
doesn't.
Raider is supposed to fly like a Destroyer,
Right.
right?
And their stabilities are usually a tick higher too. So a -1 is more like a -2,
Yeah.
and a 0 is
Right.
more like a -1. And so I was like, because I looked at their lineup one day and I was like, they only have like one disc in every category. Dynamic does between distance, fairway, mid range, and putters that
Oh yeah.
show as -2 or flippier, and that's it. And I was like, I know their discs are flippier than this. Like
I remember throwing a
their
West
flight
Side
numbers are
Sorcerer.
awkward.
I threw a West Side Sorcerer and I was like, what is happening? I was like,
Right.
this is magic what this is doing. This
Yeah.
is not what the
It's like,
numbers
this
say.
is not normal.
Again, they retooled the numbers. Once they absorbed that company, they retooled everything. The Stag
Yeah,
got different numbers, all that stuff. So, yes.
Mhm.
All right, Ethan, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
Manufactured in USA. That was a great question.
Yes.
Okay. Innova.
No.
Discraft. DGA.
Yes.
Distance driver.
No.
Fairway driver.
No.
Mid range.
Yes.
4-speed, 5-speed. 4-speed.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
5.
5-speed. Breaker.
No.
I think that's the 4-speed. Why do I not know mid ranges that well?
Ooh, I could say something.
Yeah. See.
10 seconds.
The Torrent is fairway. Okay. Think.
And that's
think,
time.
think.
One more narrowing one more narrowing question and a
What's a
guess.
5-speed mid-range? And is it a 4 series disc?
Probably. I don't know their Tour Series lineup. I don't buy Tour Series discs.
Yeah.
Do you guys have you guys not figured this out yet?
I do. Um.
Yeah.
Wait, hang on. Let me look. I'll
no,
check
no, it's
for you.
fine. It's fine. I got another question.
Okay.
Does it start with a Q?
Yes.
All right. The Quake.
Yes. It is the
Wow, that
Quake.
was a roller coaster, man.
Yep.
Between him not being able to just guess a couple, like I thought I gave you guys a cheat code with asking what continent it was on, and then
Right?
you immediately went straight to direct manufacturers. I was like, all right,
Yep.
Yeah,
I was like America.
So
I was like, all right, well,
for
let's
me,
go.
because then I don't my brain is not working like that because I have never used that tool. So
Yeah.
like I will probably use that tool in the future.
Yes,
That's a very good one.
But my brain was not ready to use that tool today because, as I had to think when I answered your question, that means I'd have to think too hard as I'm asking the question. Is it made in America?
I'm just glad that y'all haven't busted out your like Yakun or Yiken discs. Be like,
We try to stay outside
Yeah.
of the realm
Yeah.
of like too obscure,
Like,
usually.
yeah.
And then the most obscure disc I've ever given him was the Innova Skeeter.
Right.
That's not that obscure.
It was too.
No,
Think about how many discs I had to go through.
it's a 2-speed putter, right?
No.
That's a mid range.
Yeah.
It's a
Oh,
straight
to
mid
me-
range.
Okay,
Think
I
about
guess
it.
it's always in the putter section of the shop since it's all
Yeah.
alphabetically.
That's probably true. It's literally it's like a 5500 or something.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
right. No, because that's a Mako. Yeah,
You know,
I think it's
I
like a
didn't even.
-1 something. I thought it was understable or a 0-1.
Oh yeah.
That's what it is.
No, wait. 5.5 -1.1.
Okay.
It's a straight flying mid range with 5 glide. It's,
I was getting stuck on the Mako and Mako 3, and I was just like, what else is there? I don't know. I kept going. I was like, Shark, 6-speed,
Well,
you
why do you
know.
think when it went to Innova, the first thing I said whenever you were like Innova, I was like, is it an animal? Because I can eliminate like a
Oh.
third over here,
Yeah.
and a
Yeah.
bird is another third. So if we
Yep.
just get rid of these,
Yeah, you had great guesses. You
is it
definitely did.
amphibious?
Well, Johnny is out here getting it. He got
Johnny's
at
been
least a
on
couple
point.
right.
dude.
He
He
got
knows
that
his
one right
discs.
too.
He got the Bowie right too. Oh my gosh, he's out here. We out here, chat.
So Nathan in chat says kind of off topic, but personally, the only gap I really need filled that's not from Lone Star is my uplink and my crave. So obviously
Crave is a great
MVP.
disc.
Crave is
Crave's
a great disc. It truly is a great disc. I found one. I told the guy I had it. He was like, throw it, feed it in for me. I was like, no, because I'm gonna fall in love with it, and I'm just not gonna do that. And he's like, I'll be back down in the fall. He lives in Indiana,
Oh man.
and I'm
Yeah.
just like, I can't do that. If I lose it, I'll feel bad. So I just
The
set it to the
lariat.
side. But I did throw it. It was good.
Oh yeah. It's laser straight. It's laser straight
It
when you
is.
throw it. And honestly, the lariat is the 9-speed version of a crave. So if you want a crave that goes even farther, because they go forever,
Right.
throw a lariat. The uplink. What are the numbers on the uplink?
So the uplink is like a 540. No, maybe it's a 4-speed.
Is that MVP?
Yeah,
I got you. Give
it's
me a second.
MVP, but it's a very
It's
a
5.5
it's-
-3.05.
okay, yeah.
So MVP is a little more overstable than their numbers imply until
Well, this
they've
is what.
really
Yeah.
been beaten in.
It's
So
a very
out of the
torque
box, it's
resistance
5.5 -2.
understable. Yeah.
So then
very
it's a
torque resistant.
BB6.
Yeah.
So if on this flight chart, again, thank you Infinite Discs for your flight charts and your own rating system because that helps me a lot. BB6 is going to be close to that, man. 5.5 -3.0, and it's a -2.1. If you get a BB6 that's lighter, a
Right.
lighter weight BB6, because in the BB6 mold we're able to manipulate the weight a lot more. You
Right.
can get it all the way down to like 150s. So if you grab like a 160, 165 BB6, it'll do exactly what that disc is doing for you right there.
There you go.
I
Ta-da!
like it.
There you go.
I like it.
That's what
Well,
that's what I'm here for.
I hate to break
Yep.
up this party,
It's
but
2
I have to
hours
go to
and 40
bed
minutes. Yeah.
because
But
I have work.
Wow.
we are so
Slackers.
right. Hey, no, I mean I'm down if we just kick him
No.
off.
You're fine. You're
I'm
fine.
kidding.
Oh my gosh.
We can
But
always do this again. Of
we
course. There's
will.
always another time. Yeah.
Absolutely. We had so much fun. I'm
We're-
speaking for him, but I already know. So, um,
oh,
it was an awesome interview, an awesome podcast.
I'm
Thanks
just trying to
to
end the episode so I can go backwards and clip the chupacabra and post it
Dude,
on Twitter.
I'm telling you, the Chupacabra,
it's money. So
people
money.
have been begging for this disc. We actually had so Swanky Disc Golf has like 15,000 subscribers on
Yeah.
YouTube. They did a huge video on the armadillo. They compared the Mad Cat against a Firebird and a Captain's Raptor, and I was
It
like,
was so much more.
I was
Yeah.
like, just wait a month. The Chupacabra's almost there. Like
Yep.
you can use the Chupacabra, and that's the Captain Raptor killer, right?
Yep.
That's it. So
That's gonna be it.
The Craptor Killer.
All right. Well, before we go anywhere else and start to close out the podcast, as the social media manager for you guys, give me all of your socials, everything, regardless of whether you're the direct manager of it or not, anything that they can do to get in touch with Lone Star.
yes, I'm the direct manager of all of it currently. So you can reach us at Lone Star Disc on Facebook, at Lone Star Disc on Instagram, Lone Star Disc on YouTube. You can also reach out to us on Twitter at Lone Star Disc. There is no underscores in any of those. You can also email me if you have any questions, josh@lonestardisc.com. And if you have any questions about your order or you have questions about our product, feel free to email info@lonestardiscs.com. That way we can get you guys set up if you have an event you want to sponsor, you're looking for sponsorship information, or if you just want to ask a question about our product.
Absolutely. For anybody who's joining in here at the end, got a couple of comments about it. The audio version of this will be up probably Thursday morning because it's such a long one. It's going to take us a minute to strip. However, the video version will be available for replay right here on Facebook within the next 10 to 15 minutes. Sometimes it's instant, sometimes it takes a couple of minutes before it's available. Just keep an eye on it. And then it'll also be on YouTube later as well. We don't do a whole lot of interaction on the podcast version of our YouTube yet, but it'll be there. So other than that, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, Google, and then there's a lot of obscure places that have our audio
Yes.
versions as well. So even Facebook has links to our
Yes,
audio versions. You
Facebook
can
has
pull
it.
directly from Facebook.
Podknife, Podbean, Podstrip, just pretty much Pod. We're there.
Absolutely.
But one last thing that chat has to say, just to pester on, is or wonder on. I don't know. New disc or stamp idea: the Yellow Rose of Texas. Think
Yes.
about it, and yeah, maybe
Trust
next
me.
time you'll have some kind of something going in the works. So Johnny, pay attention.
Yes, my entire list of names of discs and discs that we have yet to make grows every day. And
It
in
grew a lot
fact,
tonight.
yes, it did. If you guys check out Lone Star Discs Twitter, we actually had one of our team members, Gabe Pruitt, make up a mock of him visiting the future all the way to 2026 of all the fake discs names that we're
Yes.
supposed to come out with over the course of the next 4 years. So
The
it's very funny.
Alaskan bullworm.
Yeah, my favorite one's the brisket sandwich.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'd buy it.
Yeah.
Heck
exactly.
yeah. Heck yeah.
Actually, it doesn't even need to be a sandwich. You could just slice a brisket. I don't
Now
know.
I'm just
Brisket.
hungry.
Yeah,
Then
the
you just
brisket.
you just need
Brisket.
one sliced
Brisket.
bread. You just need one sliced bread.
We'll do the
It's-
Rudy's, right? And then the Dickie's barbecue. Well,
it's
like have
literally
different joints.
you could
Wait.
literally have a disc named the sliced bread
Wait.
and make
Wait.
it a meme disc, and then
I got it.
literally the next one you can just say everything. It's the best thing since sliced bread. You know
Oh,
what I
that's
mean?
true.
What you really need to
So
do is
good.
you just go and start like taking all these food items and then
Yes.
tagging other disc names on top of it. The Mad Cat's baked beans, the Texas Rangers
Oh.
brisket. Like, oh my
Ooh.
That's
Bowie's buttered
clever.
rolls.
Oh my god, he's a genius. All right.
He's a
Well,
genius.
Intellectual property.
Yeah, right here. It's saved.
All right. Well, it has been 2 hours, 37 minutes, and
Oh my gosh.
59 seconds. I didn't let it get to 38. So we will see everyone later. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. Huge shout out to Lone Star Discs. Go follow them. Go buy their discs.
Everywhere.
Go throw their discs into the cages and the chains and
Yeah,
all
baskets,
whatnot.
cages, whatever.
You know,
Look,
it's all the same. They belong
we
there.
all know. Yeah, we all know you guys already spend too much money on discs. You have no excuse not to go at least try one disc from them.
Honestly, thanks.
Absolutely. And after seeing this interview, how could you not want to be in on the movement that Lonestar is making?
You want to be a part of the next legacy in disc golf? We are the fastest growing brand, so it's time to get on the train while we are leaving the station.
That's right. And Meredith in the chat on Facebook has linked it. We will pin it. It shall stay there for the live chat and for the replay. So anyone that is interested, hop over to Facebook, click that link, go give them some love. We really do appreciate all of you and the audio listeners. Thank you so much, and we'll see y'all on the next hole. Peace.
Peace.
See ya.